shortstop. Zach DeZenzo bats sixth. Batting seventh is Brett Toadies, their catcher. Nolan Clegg hits eighth, and he is at their DH spot. And rounding out the lineup and playing at third base is Nick Irwin. Here we go, off to the races, and the first one is a swing and a miss, and we are underway early tonight at 5:58 as it's a swing and a miss from Canzone from Rock, Ohio's starter. And it is a beautiful night for baseball here on the banks of the Hocking, and game time temperature 72 degrees, and this is rolled out to second, flagged there easily by Hafner, who will throw to first in time for the out, and that's one couple of pitches and one out. Dominic Canzone grounds out for 3, and here is Kobe Fompe, their second baseman.
It's about throwing strikes for Joe Rock today. You heard Rob Smith say that in the pregame interview. And if he can get it over the plate, he's a solid enough pitcher, and he can get outs against this Ohio State team.
Rock got the win, and Ohio won it 12-3 last time out for him as a starter against Morehead State last week. And the first one is in there to Fompe, F-O-P-P-E, their second baseman. It's a strike. It is 0-1. Not much of a breeze here today, but what there is blowing out towards right. Rock, the left-hander, delivers, and that's in the field turf, and the count's level at a ball and a strike. The Buckeyes have dropped 5 in a row. They're 16-16. They're 5-7 away from home. They're 2-4 in Big Ten play, and they were just swept by Northwestern this past weekend in Columbus. And the finale of that series, they actually led 3-2 going into the 7th. Then the Wildcats went wild. Rock delivers. That's on the inside edge for a strike, and it is 1-2 to Fompe, who is a 141 hitter with 5 runs batted in, looking for his first homer of the year. Rock, the tall left-hander, turns, kicks, and fires on 1-2. Cued foul up the right field line. Last time Ohio State was here was in 2016, and Ohio lost that game 6-3, but the crowd that night, 2,348. And we expect a crowd that will be a little bit more than the norm tonight on a beautiful night for baseball in Athens. Rock turns and fires from the wind on 1-2, and that misses high and wide, 2-2 the count. Defensively for the Bobcats, Trevor Lucas in left, Sebastian Fabic in center, Michael Richardson in right, Aaron Levy at third, Traben Funderburg at short, Trevor Hafner at second, and Rudy Road at first. Nathan Malott and Rock the pitcher. Ground ball, slow roller to short. Funderburg flies in, throws to first in time. Hang a star on that one, and 2 groundouts to start it off as Fompe flips it out to the shortstop, and Funderburg, who fields his position very well, gets a 6-3 put out, and here is Brady Cherry.
Boy, what a tough play for Funderburg. Joe Rock kind of made a 50-50 decision next to the mound to not go after the baseball, and Funderburg had to sprint up and make a throw on the run. I mean, that's about as good as you can play shortstop.
Cherry, a .346 hitter with 3 home runs and 29 runs batted in, hits on the right side, looks pretty menacing in there, and there's a strike. It is 0-1.
And guys like Cherry are the reason Ohio State ranks 3rd in batting average, 3rd in runs scored in the Big Ten. They are an offensive juggernaut in that conference.
He's in the top 10 in 9 statistical categories in the Big Ten, and he shoots one through the 5-6 hole on the left side of the infield and into left for the Buckeyes' first hit of the ball game. And here is Connor Pohl, P-O-H-L, their first baseman. .287 hitter, a home run, and 19 runs batted in.
That last one was just strength from Cherry. And that's normally a rollover ground out for most guys, but he's just so strong. He just muscled it in the left field past Funderburg. Excited to see how Beals kind of played with this lineup. You see Fompe in the 2-hole. That's not normally a player you'd see there for Ohio State. And that's what these midweek games give teams like Ohio State a chance to do, really play around with that lineup.
Pohl hits on the left-hand side, first baseman, and the pitch from Rock. That misses low and outside. Joe Rock from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, continuing the long line of Bobcat baseball players and coaches from the Keystone State. Of course, former head coach Joe Carbone is from Pennsylvania. 2 gone, runner at first, and the pitch. Hit the spot, but outside the zone. It is 2-0. 2 gone, top of the first. Ohio and Ohio State here from Bob Wren Stadium after a disappointing weekend for the Bobcats up in DeKalb. They lost all 3, and just not enough timely hits. The next one hits the spot right over the dish. It is 2-1.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate, too, because Ohio looked like they had turned the season around within the conference, and then just a tough weekend series in DeKalb. And when you hit like that, they're hitting almost 300 in April, and you're not able to get wins, it's just frustrating.
Left on left, 2-1 the count, 2 gone. Runner breaks from first. They got him picked off. Rote throws to Funderburg, who lays the tag down on a feet-first slide from Cherry, and the pickoff 1-3-6, and the Buckeyes are out of business in the top of the first. No runs a hit, no errors, and a man left at the plate. We're through with a half rack. Ohio State nothing. Ohio coming up from the Wren. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. Bobcats trying to add to their win total of 8. Ohio State is 16 wins. Here are the starters for the Bobcats. Leading off and playing in left field is Trevor Lucas. Batting second and third is Aaron Levy. In the 3-hole, Rudy Road, who had 8 hits this past weekend at DeKalb, he's at first. Trevor Hafner is the second baseman tonight. Hitting cleanup, right field, Michael Richardson bats 5th. Traben Funderburg is the 6-hole hitter, and he's the shortstop. Cole Revels is a DH tonight, the redshirt freshman from Charlotte. Nathan Malott behind the dish, as he has been with Ohio's catching injuries. He bats 8th, and Sebastian Fabic rounds out the lineup, and he's in center field. Will Fenning, P-F-E-N-N-I-G, Will Fennig, 6'160", and a freshman from Mason, Ohio, is set to go for the Buckeyes. He's 0-2 with a 3.29 ERA. This is his second start. There's a bunt put down by Lucas. Picking at third is Irwin. Throws to first. Not in time. It's an infield single for Trevor Lucas. Ohio trying to push the envelope early, and a single starts it off. And so Ohio State had 1 hit in their top of the first. Lucas, a 298 hitter, lays it down there, and he was flying down the line. Here is Aaron Levy, last week's MAC Player of the Week. Average at 222 right now. The sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio's third baseman tonight. Levy last weekend in DeKalb had a couple of hits. He had 3, he had a single hit in each game. Ohio lost on Sunday 5-1. Led in the first inning and then never led again. All the runs in that ballgame were in the first inning. Ohio lost 5-2 in the middle game, and in the opener 7-6. Fennig to Aaron Levy, and that's in the field turf. It is 1-0. Dimensions here at the Wren, 340 down the lines, 380 to the power alleys, and 405 to straightaway center field. We've got a really nice crowd here tonight. The lower portion of stands are nicely filled, and folks in the upper areas, first and third base sides. Levy swings and pops it up foul, third base side, and out of play.
Yeah, with the weather and the crowd size and the opponent, I think if you're going to pick any Bobcat baseball game to go to, this is probably the one.
2,300 were here a couple of years ago. And, yeah, that Ohio State name and this program and the ability to draw here in Athens and the weather, yeah, you bet. Bouncing ball could be 2. To his right is Foppe. Flip to the shortstop, DeZenzo on to first, double play. 4-6-3 in the twin killing. Nicely turned by the Buckeyes. And Ohio's the bases clear and 2 gone for Rudy Rote.
Yeah, grounding right into a double play with Rudy Rote coming in. Unfortunate. Great little turn. Glove flip from Foppe.
The Bobcats haven't rolled into a ton of double plays this year. That's just the 12th. Ohio State's turned their 27th. That's a lot of DPs. Ohio turned a MAC high last year, and that's because a lot of runners were on base last year. Rudy Rote swinging for the downs, came up empty. It is 0-1.
Well, with glove work like that, you understand why they've turned 27 double plays.
336 is his average, 5 home runs, and he laces one down the line and right. It's fair by 2 feet. It's going to roll into the corner. Canzone up with it in the corner, bobbled it in the corner, and Rote will just cruise on into second with a stand-up double. He had one of those in DeKalb over the weekend, and so Ohio has a man in scoring position with 2 gone here in the bottom of the first. Rudy's 11th double, and that is double number 41 for the ball club, and he continues with what he was doing this past weekend in DeKalb, and you can have some great performances even in losses, and Rudy up in DeKalb was outstanding. He had 8 hits in 13 plate appearances. He just wore out Northern pitching. Here's Trevor Hafner, cleanup hitter, takes one low and outside. It's 1-0 from Pfennig. Trevor hitting .221, no home runs and a couple batted in. RBI chance here with 2 gone. Bottom of the first, scoreless game. Pfennig from the stretch, misses high. 2-0 is the count. More fans filing in here on a beautiful night. Grills fired up too. It's always good to have the ballpark smell on a Tuesday night. Burgers, hot dogs, and more. 2-0. That missed high. It's a tight zone. 3-0 the count.
That's the only thing about the new turf is you don't get that freshly cut grass smell from here in the press box.
Yeah, because the waft from the cut grass in the outfield, it doesn't quite make it to the press box. Shadows out towards the home plate area now. Hafner standing in mostly sunlight. White spikes, white batting gloves, takes an obligatory strike in the outside edge. It is 3-1 to him. All time against Ohio State, the Bobcats have 40 wins. Ohio State has 85. The last time Ohio beat Ohio State was in 1990. 3-1, that gets away. That's ball 4. Rote will just roll on into third. And so on what would be, well, it hit the glove. We'll see how that's scored for Rudy to go to third on that walk. So Ohio has runners on the corners here for Michael Richardson. Richardson tonight playing in right. .254 hitter with no home runs and 3 runs batted in. In this scoreless game at the bottom of the first inning. 2 gone, and Ohio trying to come through with something here. They led in DeKalb to start multiple times. 2 of the 3 games they led to start. And the first one's a strike. It is 0-1. Buckeyes are in gray tops, gray bottoms, red sleeves. They look sleeveless, but they're have the sleeves attached. Ohio State in script with a runner going from first, hit and run on, pop-up foul, first base side out of play. Scarlet and gray. Ohio in green tops, white pants. Ohio in the arch across the chest. And darker green batting helmets with the italicized O. You have 2 different styles of O tonight. 0-2 the count, 2 gone. Runners on the corners. Bouncing ball headed up the middle, but it's flagged at short by DeZenzo, and he goes to Foppe for the short way force out. And Ohio out of business in the first inning on the fielder's choice. 6-4. Nothing for the Cats and 2 hits. They strand 2, and we're through with 1. Scoreless game in Athens. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOEB. Scoreless game, Ohio and Ohio State. Meeting number 126 all time between these two schools, separated by about 70-plus miles. And it's cool to see them here. There are a lot of states in which that state school, the big state school, will not lower themselves in their mind in those states to come play anywhere else. So it is cool that Ohio State's here and the Bobcats want to beat them. Rock back on the bump. Connor Pohl was at the plate when Cherry was picked off, and the first one misses just high. It's a tight zone tonight. It is 1-0. This is an Ohio State team that made their 21st NCAA tournament last year, and they were 2 and done in the tournament. 0-1 popped up behind home plate. Going to be a tough play. Moving back, Milan over towards the Ohio State on deck circle, and he skids to the retaining wall as the ball hit his glove, but it was a tough play. It's just a strike. It is 1-1. 4 College World Series appearances for Ohio State. Of course, Ohio's been there too. 16 NCAA tournaments for the Bobcats, and so that's 5 away from Ohio State. So you have 2 pretty historic college baseball programs in this state playing here tonight. 1-1 from Joe Rock. Bouncing ball to short, easy for Funderburg. Trey squares it up, throws to first, and they get him by a step and a half. And to the credit of Pohl, he was moving down that line. 6-3 on the putout. And here is Dylan Dingler, their center fielder.
Yeah, if any two programs are going to compare in terms of Ohio State athletics versus Ohio athletics, I think baseball, Ohio's done a really good job, especially in recent years, making NCAA tournaments and competing at a level to where they can compete with Ohio State. You know, if they played each other 20 times, it would I don't think it'd be unfair to say that Ohio could maybe win 10 or 11 of those games.
The problem is, when you see him just one time a year, that string can continue, and Ohio has lost 11 in a row to Ohio State, last win in 90. Here's Rock for Dylan Dingler, right-handed hitter, and he flies one to right center field. This is going to be a tough sun play. Richardson drifts back in front of that 380 marker in front of the warning track and flagged it down. That is tough on a day like today. Back to first. I'm sorry, that is Dingler on the fly out to right. And here is Zach DeZenzo. 2 gone in the frame. Top of the second. Scoreless game, Ohio and Ohio State. DeZenzo, a .252 hitter with 5 home runs and 22 runs batted in. DeZenzo, their shortstop, Dezenzo. And the first one's a strike from Rock. It is 0-1. That win in 1990, last win in the series. Last year, Ohio lost 4-0 in Columbus. That was on April the 10th. 2 years ago at Ohio State, Ohio lost 3-0. DeZenzo lines one to left in the tracks of Lucas. Comes in and makes a head-high squeeze, one-handed, and that's a 1-2-3 very quick inning for Joe Rock. Nothing for Ohio State in the top of the second. We go to the bottom half. Scoreless game from Athens. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WUB. But Ohio needs to get another series victory. They've dropped 2 of the first 3. And we'll see the Rockets coming up on Friday night. Michael Richardson leads it off. First pitch swinging, hops it up the third base side and foul by a foot. It is 0-1. Richardson, a .254 hitter, no home runs and 3 runs batted in. Richardson tonight is playing in right field. He was at second base for the bulk of the series against NIU. Will Pfennig back on the mound for Ohio State. His second start. He is 0-2 with the 3.29 ERA coming in. Next one's high and wide. It is 1-1. Just a frustrating weekend in DeKalb because those games were winnable. Ohio stranded a lot of runners. 1-1, high and wide, 2-1. The Huskies swept Ohio for the first time since 2007. And that was the first trip to DeKalb since 2012, and Ohio swept that. Here it is from Pfennig, swing and a miss.
Well, I think the positives you take out of a series like that is that you were in each and every game, and there's a universe that exists that you have 5 wins in conference, and you're well into making the conference tournament.
Bobcats need to get it going. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Pfennig with his first strikeout of this ball game. Richardson goes down on strikes. Here is Trey Funderburg. He had a good series in DeKalb, .253 hitter, no home runs, and 1 home run and 7 runs batted in. Actually, this is Cole Revels here. Revels for the Bobcats. I misnotated as Richardson ended the inning. That was Funderburg who just struck out. Here is Revels, and there's a strike. It's 1-1. Revels, redshirt freshman from Charlotte, .297 hitter, fouls one off at the plate. 1-2 the count. He wears 14, Ohio's DH tonight. Open stance, 1-2 the count, and the pitch. There's a pop-up. This is a mile high, foul ground into the short outfield grass and foul territory towards the retaining wall, and Pohl went over the first baseman for Ohio State, and he actually clipped that wall. That's a higher wall than normal, so if you reach out, your ribs are really exposed there as you're trying to make a play. He hit that wall, and he's walking gingerly on that right field line right now. And he will stay in the game, I believe. So he drops his glove down, and maybe a little dinged up, but he'll be all right.
Yeah, it's a home field advantage thing. If you're at your home park, you probably know where that fence is, when to reach that handout.
Yep.
He just kind of misread it, was expecting the fence sooner than it came, and could make the play on it.
Revels hitting .297. He the DH tonight. The pitch misses low. 2-0 the count. 1 gone. We're in the bottom of the second in this scoreless game with more folks coming in. We definitely are over 1,000 tonight, 1,500 maybe. Line shot to left. In towards the line is Cherry, and he reaches down and makes the catch. Straight away left. He read the ball very well on a sinking line drive. And there is out number 2. And here is Nathan Malott. Hitting .171, no home runs, and 2 runs batted in. Scoreless game. We're in the bottom of the second. Ohio and Ohio State. Malott pressed into more starting duty, a lot more starting duty because of Ohio's injuries catching-wise. There's a strike. It is 0-1. But he's defended his position well, and hopefully you get a little bit of something with the bat. There's a strike. P at the knees on the outside corner. It's 0-2. 2 gone, bases clear. Pfennig from Mason, Ohio. Buckeyes starter tonight, 6 foot 160. That missed low and outside. The unfortunate thing about the weekend was Ohio had 36 runs in 3 games leading into that series and scored some runs in DeKalb, but just not enough of consequence to keep the lead or take the lead back. And thus, Ohio was swept, and that 3-game winning streak was done. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on the 2-2 pitch. It looked like a slider from Pfennig that was diving low and outside, and Malott is strikeout victim number 2 of Pfennig. Nothing for the Cats. Down in order in the second. We go to the third. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. We have flown through the first two in this, the 126th meeting between these two schools. With Lucas Moore, I'm Russ Eisenstein. Daniel's back in our WOUB studios. You'll be with us over the weekend.
Yeah.
Couple of games, maybe?
I'm hoping to be. I've got my own team to coach, Athens Middle School, but we don't play until Sunday, so I'd love to.
Right on.
Love to be here a couple times throughout the weekend.
More than welcome. So the Buckeyes lead it off with Brent Todes, their catcher, and he flies one deep to left center off the glove of Fabic as he was just to the left of the attack can below the scoreboard. His spikes actually hit the base of the wall, and that's going to be a leadoff double for Brent Todes. Todys, 241 hitter with 2 home runs and 11 runs batted in, and he doubles. That's Ohio State's second hit of the night, and he gave that ball a ride. Fabic went over and back, and he nearly made another fabulous Fabic catch.
Yeah, Rock just trying to get a strike over to start an inning. And good hitters from good schools, they'll punish you for that. And that was a tough play for Fabic in the gap and a deserved double. And now Rock's got to work out of a jam.
Here is Nolan Clegg, C-L-E-G-G. Clegg, a 275 hitter with a home run and 11 runs batted in. Open stance, he's in shadows and Rock in sunlight, delivers and throws outside. It is 1-0, so a man in scoring position to start off the Buckeye third. For a ball club last year that, as I mentioned, went to the NCAA tournament again. They had a long weekend at the Big Ten tournament. They went 2-2 there. And then they went to Greenville, North Carolina for the regional. Fly ball foul, first base side out of play. Lost to South Carolina 8-3, lost to North Carolina Wilmington 4-3. In the East Carolina regional, and the Pirates are in a lot of polls cracking the top 10 in this very regionally biased sport that is college baseball. Not a lot of North teams from the North in any top 25 polls. Pitch misses inside. 2-1 is the count on their 8-hole hitter, Nolan Clegg.
Couldn't you say that about the college football top 25 as well, with certain areas of the country? I think just some areas of the country, Russ, are just better at certain sports, and I'm not even sure the reason for it.
Well, in baseball, it's the weather.
Without a doubt.
Without question. 2-1 popped up into that powder blue sky for a second. Richardson didn't know where it was. The ball carries out to the wall, and that ball's gone. Somehow that ball got out of here. Way up into the wind that is blowing out towards right, and it carried out of here, and the Buckeyes lead it 2-0 on Nolan Clegg's second home run of the season. RBIs 12 and 13. And for a second, that one there, Richardson didn't know because, A, the sunlight, and then it carried, and once he found where it was over the wall.
It looked like a decently deep, but not even going to be close to the warning track pop-up off the bat. And that ball just kept flying and pushing right. Without a doubt, Clegg needs to thank the wind for that home run. That's unfortunate. Against an Ohio State team you haven't beat since 1990, and the wind at your own stadium pushes the ball out of the yard.
Well, if Ohio can hit it up into that win. That will aid them too. Ohio State made the swing, made the hit to be able to get the help from the wind. And a lot of times in baseball you get, and in life, you get the breaks that you deserve. And Ohio State got a break there, and they're up 2-0. This one's popped up by Irwin. This is on the infield towards third, and it's playable for Levy. And he makes the catch for out number 1 of the inning on Nick Irwin, who is their third baseman. So he flies out to his counterpart on the infield. And back to the top side now to Dominic Canzone. Buckeyes up 2-0. Get a home run from their 8-hole hitter, and that's why that Toadies double was so huge. He scored a team-high 33 runs. 7 times this year he's homered, and he laces one through the right side hole for a base hit. That's a pretty good leadoff hitter for Ohio State. And here is Kobe Foppe, their 2-hole hitter.
If you're Rocky, you just got to stay composed. They haven't. The rope by Toadies was definitely a shot, and the one to right that was a home run for Clegg was decently deep. But you haven't been roped, and I think he just needs to trust his stuff, stay in the zone. You don't want to start walking guys here, because then Ohio State will put up 5 or 6 in this inning if you start giving free passes.
Buckeyes have lost 5 in a row. Runner breaks from first. This is shot back to the screen. It's 0-1. Yeah, last year, good year for the Buckeyes. They went 36-24 and 14-10 in the Big Ten. This year, though, 16 up, 16 down, and obviously the losses coming in. They'll play at home tomorrow night against Dayton. I think they have dollar dogs tomorrow night. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, my stomach's growling a little bit.
And that grill isn't helping things.
Oh, not at all.
Foppe grounded out to short an inning ago. They've got Ohio State and Michigan this upcoming weekend in Columbus. Hawaii came to town. It's cool to see their non-conference schedule. Seton Hall, Florida Gulf Coast, BYU, Corpus Christi, Bethune-Cookman, Wofford, Lipscomb, Northern Kentucky. Bouncing ball towards short. Trey Funderburg to his right. Flags it, throws to second, one on to first. Way late. So on with the fielder's choice is Foppe. Canzone out 6-4 at second. 2 gone here. Runner at first. Top of the third. 2-0 Ohio State for Brady Cherry. They took care of the Rainbow Warriors 6-4, 6-5, 7-5, and then lost in the series finale 15-3. Beat Toledo earlier this year 9-4. Took 2 out of 3 to Rutgers, then lost to Cincinnati, and then lost all 3 to Northwestern last weekend. The first one to Cherry misses up and away. It's 1-0. They lost 13-5 to the Wildcats, 7-2. And 10-4. They led for a good portion of that Sunday finale. So they've dropped 5 in a row. Pop-up foul by Cherry. Well out of play to the right side.
Yeah, interesting to see how the Ohio State pitching staff fell off after a 15-inning game against Rutgers, giving up 7+ runs in 4 straight games. When you go deep into your bullpen like that, it can really affect teams for quite a few days, especially in college. Guys aren't used to stretching out like that.
1-1 to Cherry, striking the inside edge. 2 gone, runner at first. 1-2 the count now on Ohio State's best hitter. And he'd be the best hitter on a lot of teams. He's the conference leader in hits, total bases, 3rd in runs scored, 4th in slugging, 4th in ribbies, 4th in doubles, homers, he's right there too. Good ball player. 1-2 and a good eye. That's Loman outside, 2-2 the count. It's baseball, so you have ebbs and flows to a season. Northwestern's pretty scrappy, though.
Oh, yeah.
And they proved that in Big Ten tournaments last couple of years. 2-2, hit on the ground towards the right side hole. Flag there to his left. Hafner throws in time to get Cherry by a couple of steps. And the inning is over. But the Buckeyes, they scored twice on a 2-run tater by Nolan Clegg. We head to the bottom of the third, 2-0 Ohio State. From the Wren, this is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. Ohio at 8-21. Ohio is 3-6 in conference play. Ohio State 16 up, 16 down. Their starter, Will Pfennig, is staked to a 2-0 lead on that wind-blown home run by Nolan Clegg, and he'll lead it off with Sebastian Fabik. Hits .208, has a home run, 9 runs batted in. A fabulous defensive player, and he will be in the 9-hole today. Swing and a miss on a letter-high fastball from Pfennig. It is 0-1. Major League, we'll get going with some stuff tonight. Check scores for you as we roll along on this midweek night, Tuesday night in Athens. Beautiful night. There's a strike. It is 0-2. And if you think about it, this is the type of night that is what college baseball is all about. Got a big opponent coming in. You got a beautiful ballpark, beautiful night. 0-2 pitch coming. That's outside. It's 1-2.
We were talking about the regional differences. This is how baseball is like a lot in the South Carolina, North Carolina area.
Without question. Pfennig coming back on 1-2. Swing and a miss. It got away from the catcher, Todes. It goes to the Ohio on-deck circle. And with the strikeout, Fabik reaches. That's the 3rd strikeout of the night. But he's on via that getting away from Todes. And so here is Trevor Lucas back to the top of the lineup.
I think it's a weather thing. I think that if the weather was like this at the beginning of the season for Ohio, you can build up a fan base throughout the year. It's just so tough in these northern climates. Well, this is why the turf is so helpful. You can make sure you don't have any rainouts or cancellations. Those really harm crowd numbers. But I'd love to see more crowds like this at Bob Wren because it's a beautiful venue for college baseball.
Throw to first, chases Fabik back. 2-0 Ohio State. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. You see shots from ballparks and college ball over the weekends in the South. You see crowds, you see the fun. That can happen here. Squared to bunt, he did offer at it. It's a strike. It is 0-1. This, of course, is the southernmost school in the back. This is the Garden Spot. Just a couple of shades a little lower than Oxford on the latitude.
You know, I actually didn't know that. But it does make a lot of sense.
0-1, squared to bunt, pulled it back, took a ball. It's 1-1.
And hey, the weather's usually pretty nice in Athens most of the time, I think. For an Ohio, for a place in Ohio, I'd say.
I'm from Northern Illinois. I'm from DeKalb. And so often when going to do games at the Convo basketball, yeah, it's not like rolling into the Convo in DeKalb. Throw to first. They got him. Fabik's picked off, so it was a little bit of a gift to get on with a swing and a miss, strike 3, and then it's amazing. Baseball somehow corrects itself, and sometimes immediately on the pickoff of Sebastian Fabik. And there's one away for a Lucas at bat in progress with the count at a ball and a strike. That's unfortunate because it was a strikeout. You get the gift runner, but then you're picked off immediately after.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate play you can't have when you're trying to pull upsets.
Strike on the outside edge from Pfennig to Ohio's leadoff hitter, Trevor Lucas. To add to the fun, and a lot of people were out taking pictures of the cherry blossoms today.
They're beautiful.
They are in full bloom. They don't hang out long, but they're pretty when they do. Called strike 3, over and maybe just a shade under the knees, and that's a strikeout to Trevor Lucas. That's strikeout number 4 on the night, and here is Aaron Levy. Bases clear. 2 gone, bottom 3, 2-0 Ohio State.
See, but things like that happen at first base with Fabik. They stack up on you when you know you haven't beaten a program since 1990. Those players in that Ohio dugout know that. So the wind-blown home run, most games you're like, shake it off, it happens. But in this one, it just feels like, really? This is happening again? Then you get picked off at first. So those little things can affect you mentally.
Right on left, and the pitch misses low. It's 1-0. Now, few of the kids, players in Ohio's dugout might know that they've dropped 11 in a row to them because they didn't do it. But it's Ohio State, and that adds to the pressure. And Ohio State might not often get this in the Big Ten because everybody in the Big Ten is a Big Ten school, but for a MAC school playing Ohio State, particularly at home, that carries a little bit more weight to it, and the want to is that much more. 2-0 is rolled foul to the first base coach's box and the Ohio State dugout. So much like in any other athletic contest, there's always more than just the game that's going on. And so it's a bigger crowd tonight, and there's a lot of stuff to think about. And Ohio would like to come back from this 2-0 deficit in the third. This is popped up. This is on the infield by Levy. This is out to short left. 3 fielders out there, but DeZenzo, the shortstop, will make the play, and the inning is done. So Ohio got a gift runner. There was a pickoff, a strikeout, and then a pop-out, and the inning is done. Nothing for the Cats in the third. Lucas Moore has the play-by-play for you in the fourth. 2-0 Ohio State. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. Lucas Moore now joins a long list of bright, young, shining stars in the radio TV program that have sat next to me in the baseball broadcast booth. And so got a lot of local experience, got a lot of experience here at Ohio University. And it's pretty cool that you want to be on the broadcast. And so we'll give you some play-by-play. So here in the fourth, with Ohio trailing Ohio State 2-0, here is the next superstar of radio TV fame at Ohio University, Lucas Moore.
I appreciate the compliment, Russ. Really do.
Well, it's good to have you here.
Oh, yeah. 2-0 lead, Ohio State. Top of the fourth. Joe Rock, the lefty, on the mound. It'll be Pohl, Dingler, and DeZenzo, the 3 due up for Ohio State, the 4, 5, 6 in the order. Rock, the lefty, kicks and deals. First pitch fastball, misses low and away. And it's a 1-0 count on Connor Pohl, the 267 hitter for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Shadows elongating from left to right here, Bob Wren. Wind blowing out to right. Fastball from Rock, called strike on the outer corner. And the count even at 1-1. Buckeyes got 2 runs in the top of the third. A 2-run home run from Nolan Clegg out to right field was assisted by the wind. Rock delivers the 1-1. Fastball off the plate away. Tried to catch the corner again. Instead, it's a 2-1 count. This Ohio State lineup, 27 home runs, make it 28. That's second in the Big Ten. As Rock delivers the 2-1. Swing and a miss, off speed, pulled the string. And the count even at 2-2 on Connor Pohl. Ohio State offense, 270 batting average, third in the Big Ten. 5.5 runs per game, also third in the Big Ten. Joe Rock, the lefty, the 2-2 fastball at the eyes. And the count is filled at 3-2 on Connor Pohl to lead off this top of the fourth inning for Ohio State. Rock in his last start, 5 innings, no runs against Morehead State. Give it up to 2 here. And Coach Rob Smith says we'd love to see 5 innings out of him. The 3-2, ball 4. And the first walk of the game issued for Joe Rock is how this fourth inning will begin. It'll be a runner on first for Dylan Dingler, the 227 hitter. Flew out to right field in his first at-bat. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Ohio State. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Bobcats. One of those hits, a bunt single by Trevor Lucas to lead off this game. The other hit, a Rudy Rote double down the right field line. Rock, the lefty, from the stretch. Back foot on the third base side of the rubber. Open stance for the righty Dingler. First pitch, called strike on the outer half. And it's an 0-1 count. And Russ has mentioned a few times, but this Ohio State team just coming off a sweep at Northwestern. They've lost 5 straight games. These two teams in very similar boats right now, trying to end losing streaks. Rock with an easy check over of Pohl. Nothing happening. Pohl yet to attempt a stolen base on the year at first. So you would think he's not much of a threat to steal, especially against the lefty Rock, who's already picked off a runner in today's game. The 0-1. Called strike at the knees. And it's 0-2 on Dylan Dingler. Dingler will step back in. Tap both sides of the plate. An 0-2 advantage for Joe Rock, the lefty. Now stands at the center of the rubber. And the pitch. Fastball just missed the inside corner. Rock thought he might get a call. From the home plate umpire, does not. Still a 1-2 advantage.
It's good to have crowd mics, huh? It's important that I actually unmute that. Now it sounds like a ballpark.
And it's quite a day for a crowd mic. I would say near 2,000. I did the attendance guess this summer. I worked for the Southern Ohio Copperheads about every night. I think we might reach 2,000 at Bob Wren tonight. The 1-2 chopped right back to the pitcher Rock. He elects to go to first and take it out. Nearly pulled the first baseman right off the bag. That's the first out of the inning. As Pohl will advance to second on the fielder's choice, and that'll bring up Zach DeZenzo with a runner on second, 1 out, 2-0 lead for the Buckeyes here at the top of the 4th inning.
Never really give the capacity of the ballpark because we're never in a position where we actually have to say, well, exceeding that capacity. The Copperheads potentially, but Bobcat baseball can draw maybe 1,000 on good weekends. The official listed capacity of this ballpark is 4,000.
Which you can imagine with all the grass space down the left and right field line. First pitch, swing and a miss to DeZenzo. Flew out to left field in his first at-bat.
And the Hill crowd tonight is pretty good.
And the Hill just a fun place to sit to watch a baseball game. Good vantage point. Feel like you're in nature. Rock with a soft check of Pohl at second. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. And an 0-2 advantage for Joe Rock. Walked the first batter of the inning. Thought maybe the control issues would come back for Rock, but he's gotten ahead of the next 2 hitters. 0-2. Now let's see what he can do with DeZenzo. Rock brings the glove to his chest. Runner taking off for third. Swing and a miss. Throw down to third, and he is safe. Underneath the tag, Connor Pohl for his first stolen base of the year. But a strikeout of DeZenzo will put 2 outs on the board, with the 7-hole hitter, Brent Todes, making his way to the dish.
That was a really good throw, and it looked like the ball beat him, but he eluded the tag. But 2 outs and a runner at third when the Buckeyes looked like they had something going with a couple of outs to play with.
First strikeout of the game for Rock. And I think that was just a great slide by Pohl. His first pitch slapped down the right field line, foul by Todes. Had that double to left center field in his first at-bat back in the 3rd inning. 2-0 Buckeyes. Their turn at the plate in this top half of the 4th at Bob Wren Stadium. The 0-1. Softly hit, right center field. It'll fall for a base hit. And Ohio State will take a 3-0 lead as Brent Todes picks up his 12th RBI of the year on a single to right.
And he probably would have scored from second anyway if he did not steal that bag, but could have crawled home there and going on contact. And thus Ohio's down 3-0. And the Bobcats against the Buckeyes have had bagels and zeros up on that scoreboard an awful lot.
It's been 23 consecutive scoreless innings for the Ohio Bobcats against Ohio State, as Rock checks the runner Todes at first. And that's dating back the last 3 matchups, and then this one tonight.
So the 2016 game, Ohio put up 3 here at home, lost 6-3.
They were held scoreless in the last 2 of that one, and then you get the 9 and the 9 from the last 2 shutouts against Ohio State. His off-speed pitch misses away, a 1-0 now on Nolan Clegg. Clegg had that home run, the 2-run shot in the 3rd. Were the first runs of this ball game. Wind assisted, but it's a home run nonetheless. Strike at the knees. Off-speed looked like 1-1 now on Clegg. 2 outs, runner on first. 3-0 Buckeyes, top of the 4th inning.
And this is a big one for Ohio State, too. It could be against Ohio. It could be against a junior college, it doesn't matter. They want to end that 5-game losing streak before they take on Dayton tomorrow night and then Michigan this weekend.
Chopper, foul down the third base line, and you don't want to fall below 500. It's just kind of this mark. 17-16 sounds way better than 16-17 with a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, they want to go in against that team from up north, as they call them, on Friday rather, as a 18-win ball club.
Michigan Wolverines currently sitting at the top of the Big Ten with a 4-1 record. Here's the 1-2 with 2 outs, swing and a miss, and Joe Rock surrenders one, but eventually escapes the inning. On to the bottom of the fourth, 3-0 Ohio State. You're listening to Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. Lead 3-0 over the Ohio Bobcats. Bobcats have some work to do as we head to the bottom of the fourth, and if there's 3 men you want to do that work, it's the 3 men coming to the plate for Ohio: Rote, Hafner, and Richardson. 3-4-5 will bat in the bottom of the fourth inning. Lucas Moore here, Russ Eisenstein next to me. Want to thank Russ again for allowing me to come in for my inaugural Ohio baseball broadcast. Of course, you did a lot of work with my good friend Max McDoulan. Honestly, my best friend in the whole world. I think he would say so as well. So I'm glad that I got to do this as well, so he can't hold that over me.
Well, you paid that fee at the door, that cover charge, right?
I don't remember if I did.
Well, the bouncer will take care of that.
First pitch pass, fastball from Venning. Misses low on Road, who hit a double down the right field line in the first. Venning from the windup. Missed off the plate away, and it's 2-0 on Rudy Rowe.
And what we talk about, much like in athletics, but in broadcasting too, you got to get more reps. You got to be more comfortable doing with what you're doing.
2-0 ripped down the right field line. Will it stay fair? It does not, as it bounced on the foul territory warning track near the right field line. A 2-1 count on Rowe. Yeah, reps are important, without a doubt, and especially reps with professionals. It's just a much different environment and experience than reps with students or reps with, people who just kind of do this as a hobby rather than a profession.
Without a doubt. Absolutely right.
2-1, base hit right up the middle. Shifted to the right was Ohio State, and Rote just slapped it in between the shortstop and second baseman. Probably in a normal alignment, the second baseman, Foppe, would have probably been there, but Rote will take himself a hit, and he's 2 for 2.
Rudy's understanding of the game, and I've gotten to visit with his father often about hitting and how he sees the game, much like how my dad and I talk about broadcasting and sports often, but I think Rudy knows exactly what he can do and the most he can get out of swings on the pitch that he's delivered. And right there, real good example of it, a real clean, strong stroke to get on with the single here to start off the fourth.
First pitch fastball high and up on Hafner, who walked in the first inning, and that's why he was 8 for 13 over this past weekend, 336 hitter on the year. And if it weren't for that Mike Schmidt name on the left field wall, you could make an argument for Rudy Rote for being one of the better hitters in the history of Ohio baseball.
Yeah, Mark Krause in there, Gauntlet Eldemeyer, Robert Maddox during my time here. But then, of course, prior to that, NCAA tournament runs in the 90s. Joe Carbone had a lot of really talented ball players. And the rest of the players, including Nick Swisher's father, Steve Swisher, on those pretty good teams that eventually made it to Omaha.
2-0 count on Hafner. Fastball high, and it's 3 balls and no strikes.
And, of course, both programs share that connection to the Swisher family. It's Nick Swisher Field at Ohio State's Bill Davis Stadium. Nick, of course, and the Swishers in the Parkersburg area.
3-0. Missed inside, ball 4. Runners on first and second for Ohio. Speaking of broadcasters, Nick Swisher, one of the more energetic guys I've heard whenever he gets on air.
Yeah, he's not at a loss for enthusiasm, huh? He's got a real PJ Flex sort of vibe when he's on camera or on the mic. But he's enthusiastic to be sure, and a proud Buckeye, of course. I think he would have probably looked a little better in green. That's all right. He made that decision, and Ohio State's pitching coach out to the mound now to make sure that this doesn't get out of hand. Ohio with a good run-scoring chance with runners on first and second, nobody out.
Well, Fennick was on an inning cap of 4, and we are in the bottom of the 4th. Ohio State leading 3-0. Ohio with runners on first and second, and I think Ohio State might be headed to the bullpen here.
Well, they do have activity. I don't know how far along into that, in that warming process they are in that right field corner bullpen.
But Ohio, the goal of the bottom of the 4th when you got your 3, 4, 5 is get the first 2 on, and it's exactly what they've done. They'll have runners on first and second with Michael Richardson coming to the plate here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Rob Smith out to talk to the home plate umpire while this conference is going on the mound, and that's now being just broken up on their own accord.
I wonder what Rob is trying to get communicated to the home plate umpire, and now the home plate umpire will call the other 2 officials over to have a conversation about whatever Rob Smith was pointing out.
And Rob knows the game really well. You would expect any head coach to, but he sees the game very well. And there have been some cases over his 7 years here where he's pointed something out to the umpires eventually agree, and the umpires might make a change. So to his credit, maybe something happened here. I don't really know what it would have been.
That's an art argument with an umpire, being able to convince them of your way. There's so many people that go the wrong way about it, and you know, I've known a lot of people is they'll give a thumbs up to Rob Smith. They'll call the Ohio State manager Greg Beals over. Beals in his 9th season, over 500 wins in his career, 9 seasons at Ohio State. Don't see anything changing on the field as the field umpire explaining to Beals.
Now, I guess maybe you're thinking about something with Fennick, and I wasn't watching. Was he going to his mouth to wet his fingers and then not dry it off and then quickly apply it to the ball? That's one thing that you could think of here.
It has to be something tiny that we just have not even come close to seeing. But nothing changing on the field. Runners will be on first and second. 3-0 Ohio State lead, bottom of the 4th inning. But the Bobcats with runners on first and second. And the redshirt sophomore Richardson squaring to bunt, but foul down the first base line. Richardson out of Cambridge, Maryland, a .254 hitter on the year, struck out in the 2nd inning. And it'll be an 0-1 count on him. Smith trying to buy some runs with a bunt down the first base line.
Well, nobody out. First and second reaching. Still a long way to go in this one, but you got to get some runs in this frame.
Funderburg on deck. Richardson squares to bunt, pulls it back as it bounces in the field turf. Count even at 1-1. Funderburg, who struck out as well. .253 hitter, 7 RBIs in the on-deck circle. Richardson with 3 RBIs this season. Standing on the first base side of the rubber, Will Fennick. Freshman with a 3.29 ERA this season. Still squaring to bunt. Richardson right back at the pitcher, Fenning. He'll throw on to third, and a bad decision will load the bases for the Ohio Bobcats. Fenning, the freshman, trying to get a little aggressive and throwing out Rudy Road heading to third. And the Bobcats, down 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th, have the bases loaded.
And Rudy read that well. The play could have been made at third if it was a stronger throw. They would have gotten Rudy, but he got there in enough time. And much like we talk about hops being truer and less complicated on the field turf, so is sliding, so is movement on the base pass. And so you're going to get a true slide into the bag. And Ohio has the bases loaded here for Trey.
Fenning will remain on the mound. Traven Funderburg is going to be up to him. Nobody out. 3-0 Ohio State lead. 2 runs in the top of the 3rd, a run in the top of the 4th. For the boys from Columbus. First pitch to Funderburg. Fouled straight back. The count at 0-1. Traven Funderburg from Beaver Creek, Ohio. Just outside of Dayton. Dayton, the team that Ohio State will be battling tomorrow in Columbus.
Bobcats have seen Dayton and Wright State already this year.
Both those schools around the, obviously Dayton and Dayton, as Funderburg will foul it straight back, and it's 0-2, but Wright State right there in that Dayton pocket as well. Those two schools fairly close to my hometown.
And you see this a lot in the state of Ohio. There are just so many programs to choose from. You could fill out your non-conference schedule, midweeks anyway, with teams from this state.
The 0-2. Funderburg takes it low, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shawnee State, an example that Ohio has done reaching into the lower levels even. Once you get an NAIA, there's a lot of baseball programs in the state of Ohio. But the state of Ohio's offense right now is bases loaded. 1 and 2 on Funderburg. Missed inside, did Fenning. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on the sophomore from Beaver Creek. 3 runs for the Buckeyes, no runs for the Bobcats. Ohio trying to break a 23 straight scoreless inning streak against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Funderburg with a slightly open stance. The 2-2. Chopped to the third baseman. Irwin will take the throw across the diamond and unable to throw out Funderburg. Everybody's safe. And Ohio has made it 3-1 and will still have the bases loaded with nobody out for Cole Revels.
It was an in-between hop. And obviously that takes some decision making after you field that ball. Where are you going to go with it? And the speed of which that was hit, the time that you think about the decision and where you're going with it, all of that bought Ohio some time to get down the line. Bases remain loaded. There's the first run in a long time against the Buckeyes.
First run since 2016, first in 23 innings. But the base is still loaded. Ohio only down 2. First pitch fastball misses low to Cole Revels, who flew out to left field in his first at-bat in the second inning. That should go down as an infield single for Funderburg. As that one lifted deep right field. Will the wind help out the Bobcats? It does. Grand slam, Cole Revels, the redshirt freshman from Charlotte, gives Ohio a 2-run lead with a 4-run bomb, also known as a grand slam.
Taking advantage of opportunities against Ohio State. And Ohio comes through. That one on the infield for the first run, and then a Bobcat blast of a granny variety of the wall and right. The Buckeyes got one to right earlier. That one, I think, was hit a little stronger and had a little bit more impact. And Ohio State starter's done, and the Bobcats lead Ohio State 5-3 here in the 4th.
Bob Wren giveth, Bob Wren taketh away. Home run number 1 of the season for Revels. RBIs number 8, 9, 10, and 11. And the Bobcats with a 5 spot in the bottom of the 4th will force Fenning out of the ball game, as Beals will come out and have a meeting with his pitcher, and that's definitely going to be a new arm for Ohio State. And boy, what a big hit for Cole Revels, designated hitter, the redshirt freshman from Charlotte. He's gotten that batting average up to 297 and 30-plus at-bats, and that's a big-time home run. And Ohio is 5 runs in this ball game.
The cool thing about it, too, is you're not only playing for this game, but you're playing for the future and the confidence that you can have here moving forward with a good performance against Ohio State. Well, now you feel pretty good, and that feels more than just a 5-3 lead right now. As the Buckeyes go to the bullpen, we'll tell you about the new Ohio State arm after this 60-second pause. From the Wren, it's 5-3 Ohio with the 5 spot here in the 4th. We'll tell you about the new Buckeye pitcher after this 60-second pause. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB.
is a strike at the knees. 0-1. Big time grand slam for Revels with his first home run of the season. Picked up RBIs 8, 9, 10, and 11. Second pitch to Milan, strike at the chest, and it's 0-2. Waning on the season, a 6.52 ERA. Be his 12th appearance of the year, all coming out of the bullpen. His fastball misses just off the plate away to the righty Milan. It's 1-2. And it's almost like a fresh inning for Ohio with a 5-3 lead and nobody out, nobody on after the grand slam. It's off speed away, not chasing Milan, and it's 2-2. Omaha, Nebraska, the hometown for the redshirt junior. The 2-2, lifted center field off the handle. Drifting back is Dingler into the right center field gap. He'll catch with one hand near his bill. And it's out number 1 in the inning, a flyout. And that'll bring up Sebastian Fabic, who struck out in the third, but ended up reaching base and then was thrown out at first base on a pickoff. An interesting combination for the 9-hole hitter for Ohio. No bad with a 5-3 Bobcat lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Waning, first pitch chopped over his head. Second baseman Foppe coming in. Off balance throw, and he won't be able to beat the speedy Fabic at first. And it's an infield single.
So Sebastian on, and the second baseman for the Buckeyes had to shield his eyes from that sun. It's the angle now as it cuts just to the left of the structure behind home plate, the press box and the stands. So it's in that little notch there, and the angle of it, the height of it, was affecting the bouncing ball towards second. So he had to shield his eyes much like an outfielder would, and that bought a couple of extra steps for the speedy Sebastian Fabic.
2 stolen bases on the year for Fabic. He's been caught stealing once. That was today. First pitch is a strike at the knees to Trevor Lucas. Lucas reached on a single in the first inning with a bunt down the third base line. Struck out in the third. It's the 8th batter of the inning for Ohio. Grand slam from Cole Revels. Off speed. Just barely tipped by Lucas, and it's 0-2.
Pretty productive play-by-play inning for you.
Yeah, you know, I somehow ran into a grand slam in my first Ohio Bobcat baseball inning. I feel pretty grateful for it.
Well, it's important in baseball to run into one from time to time. Stick the bat out there and see where it goes.
0-2 on Lucas. He'll be protecting. Pitch from Waning. Fastball high and away, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The other cool thing about this is big crowd here tonight. Some Buckeye fans here tonight, of course, but this is a good showcase for the program right now. This might be the first time that some of these folks have been here this year. First time they see this team.
And Fabic is caught in between first and second, and he's picked off heading to second. Second time today. Sebastian Fabic has been caught on the base paths. And there'll be 2 outs with nobody on for Ohio. And 2 strikes still on the batter, Lucas.
That's not an error by being passive. That's an error of being aggressive on the base pass, but maybe a little bit too much. Trying to make something happen again, trying to continue this rally.
Hard for Ohio to be upset with his inning, though, with a 5 spot on the board in the bottom of the 4th. Count now 2-2 after the off-speed miss low and away on Lucas. Inning started with a single by Rote, then a walk from Hafner. Richardson reached on a fielder's choice. Funderburg had an infield single, and then the grand slam from Revels. As the 2-2 misses inside, and it's full 3-2 on Lucas. And a fly out from redshirt junior Nathan, the catcher. Sebastian Fabic with an infield single. The 3-2 with 2 outs. Chopped foul just barely by Lucas. And he'll get to see another pitch.
Good thing about this inning, too, Fenig, the starter for Ohio State, was on that innings restriction anyway, but they wanted to make it an innings restriction with no pressure stress on him. Ohio kind of forced the hand before the 4th inning was completed.
The 3-2. Chopped foul down the third base line. Fennick's plan was to go 4, and he thought he was going to work through 4 clean. Ohio only having 2 hits in the first 3 innings and really not threatening whatsoever. But then the grand slam from Revels, and all of a sudden a 5 spot on Fennig, and that's a guy with a 3.29 ERA, only his 2nd start of the season, and that ERA will shoot up. 3-2 fouled straight back, and one in at bat here from Trevor Lucas, finding tooth and nail in the bottom of the fourth inning. Leaning low, getting his sign. It's Thomas Waning. The righty comes set. Lucas, chopper, left side, will be fouled down the third base line. And the count still 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Lengthy at bat. It's been a very productive inning for Ohio, and you could say the most productive inning Ohio's had against Ohio State in years. Literally years. It's an 11-game losing streak against these guys.
1990, last time Ohio was able to pick up a victory against Ohio State. 3-2. Chopped foul down the third base line. How about this? Germany had not been reunified for an entire calendar year the last time Ohio beat Ohio State. I can throw in random other history from 1990, but that's the one that popped into my mind for some reason. Been a long time.
You weren't born yet.
Nope. I was -8.
It was 10. But with a great eye for broadcasting and sports already.
3-2, chopper to left side, coming in the shortstop to Zenzo. Fires across the diamond, stretching and keeping his foot on the bag as a first baseman pull. And the inning will come to an end, but not before Cole Revels says bye-bye, and a grand slam puts Ohio up 5-3. On to the 5th. Russ Eisenstein will have the play-by-play. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB.
Innings here, and the Bobcats lead the Buckeyes for the first time in a long time. 5-6-0 for the men from Athens, 3-5-0 for the boys from Columbus. Joe Rock staked to a 5-3 advantage with that 5 spot in the bottom of the 4th. And we'll see what the Buckeyes bring to the table here. With the bottom portion of their lineup, 9-1-2 scheduled here for Ohio State to start it off in the 5th inning. Rock from the wind and the pitch. Bouncing ball, chopped to the left side. Funderburk charges, gloves chest high, throws strongly to first and got him. That's a good play on a ground out to short by Irwin, their third baseman. One gone here in the 5th. Back to the top of the lineup to Dominic Canzone, their right fielder. Grounded out and singled in the 3rd. One gone, top of 5, 5-3 Ohio with the lead. And the pitch is smacked on the ground to second. Backpedaling and moving to his left, Hafner on the short outfield grass, and he retires Canzone on a ground out. And here's Kobe Foppe, their 2-hole hitter. And second baseman. 5-3 Ohio. Lights on here at the Wren. Setting sun, shadows cast out all across the field. And Rock trying to get a shutdown inning here in the 5th. The first one misses inside to the 2-hole hitter Foppe, who grounded out and had a fielder's choice. Shutdown inning, middle innings here with the Bobcats up 5-3 after a long bottom of the 4th. Bouncing ball to second. What an inning. Hafner has that. Throws out Foppe. And hello, Joe Rock. Rocking it with a shutdown inning in the 5th, and all of his boys are out of the dugout to give him the glad hand. Ohio scores 5 in the bottom of the 4th Then the Buckeyes go quickly in order in the top of the 5th. We are halfway home, and the boys from Athens have a 5-3 lead. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. And actually, how quickly can you retire a team in order? That's about as fast as it gets as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And Ohio will lead it off here with the top of the lineup. Trevor Lucas, Aaron Levy, and Rudy Rote. Ohio on top 5-3 as Thomas Waning is back on. Aaron Levy actually leads it off, 2, 3, and 4. That's the second time that I've done that tonight. My apologies. It is Levy, Rote, and Hafner. Either way, this is the top of the lineup against the second pitcher that Ohio State's used tonight. Levy grounded out and popped out today. 1-2 the count against him.
That quick inning from Joe Rock was so crucial. When you get a big inning like that in a game that you don't think you're supposed to win necessarily, to get that quick inning immediately after a big spot is just such a confidence boost. You don't want to give them runs right back.
You talk about shutdown innings. You talk about keeping momentum going, and that can happen on the defensive side as well. 2-2, called strike 3. That was a good pitch. It sliced across the plate. This Buckeye reliever comes from the side. Thomas Waning, and Levy struck out looking. Here's Rudy Rote. He started off the inning in the 4th. Ohio had 8 batters bat in the bottom of the 4th inning. 5-3 Ohio with the lead. And the first one misses low to Rudy. Cats on top by 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Waning delivers. Fly ball left center field. This is a rocket shot towards the scoreboard, and that ball is gone. Ohio leads it 6-3. Rudy Rote with a Bobcat blast. He'll be a professional hitter next year. Looking like a pro at the Wren tonight. And Ohio's doubled up Ohio State here in the 5th. 6-3 Cats.
That cat can hit. Rudy Rote 3 for 3 today, and has spread the ball around the field, down the right field line, single up the middle, and a home run to left center. He can hit to all fields, and he can do it against any type of pitcher. Whatever pro team does end up with Rudy Rote, they're going to be really satisfied.
Ohio on top 6-3, home run number 6 of the season for Rote. That's RBI number 27. And Ohio's on top of Ohio State 6-3 here in the 5th. And here it is for Trevor Hafner, and he just got hit. Flips the bat away, rips off that elbow guard, and he'll jog down to first. Obviously, when somebody gets hit immediately after a home run, you might think that there might have been some intent there, but the only person that knows that is on the mound, and the only other people that know that potentially are in that first base dugout. I wouldn't think that there's anything there. It's just a pitch that hit Hafner, and what it does for Ohio is it keeps this rally going. Here's Michael Richardson. 1 gone, bottom of 5. Ohio on top 6-3, and the pitch from Waning. First pitch swinging, pop up on the infield, first base side. Who wants it? The first baseman Pohl has the call and has the ball in fair territory for out number 2. And staying at first is Hafner. Here's Traben Funderburg. This couldn't have worked out any better. Of course, you don't want to be down 3-0, but if you're going to do that and you take the lead, how about this? A 5-spot, including a grand slam on the bottom of the 4th, a quick shutdown inning, top of the 5th, a Rudy Road homer, runner going now. The pitch is outside, and it actually was deflected as it got towards second, and it's a stolen base for Hafner.
Yeah, the catcher pops up and hits the mound. It was just kind of let it go late, and it actually became a perfect throw with the field turf. It skipped right off the mound into the glove at second and nearly got the runner headed there.
So Hafner on with Ohio's 25th stolen base this year in scoring position. That is his 3rd in 3 attempts, and the next one misses low and outside. It is 1-1. Buckeyes have dropped 5 in a row. Ohio lost 3 in a row this past weekend. Ohio's lost 11 in a row to Ohio State. The Bobcats hadn't scored in the last couple of meetings, but on top 6-3 here on that Rudy rope to left. Traben Funderburg rolls one to the Ohio dugout. It is 1-2. Trade tonight. Reached, scored in the 4th, struck out in the 2nd, hits here now in the 5th, with the Bobcat in scoring position with 2 away. Trey really close to the dish, back of the box. Right-hand side, open stance, rocks that red and black bat with 2 white batting gloves. Hafner's trying it again. The pitch is inside, throw to third, skips away, goes towards the Bobcat dugout, and scoring is Hafner, and it's 7-3 Ohio. That's a stolen base and an error on the throw. And the Bobcats are running past the Buckeyes here at the Wren. 7 unanswered. Ohio on top by a 4-spot.
In the scorebook, that's an error on the catcher, but in a coach's mind, it's an error on the third baseman. Irwin extremely late getting to the bag and just had no chance to knock down a pretty good throw.
The pitch from Waning to Funderburg slices across the plate. Strike 3 called, inning done. But Ohio gets a run with a homer, so you round tripper and then run in a run with your legs. 2 stolen bases for Hafner and an errant throw. And Irwin's inability to flag that throw at third gives Ohio a 7-3 lead as we go to the 6th from the Wren. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. By the lefty freshman from Aliquippa, PA, another inning against Ohio State tonight. Top of the 6th, 7-3 Ohio with the lead. The Buckeyes have the middle portion of the lineup here, and Rock will be tested. Brady Cherry, one of the best hitters in the Big Ten, is 1 for 2 tonight. Takes a strike. It is 0-1. This is 3, 4, and 5 for the Scarlet and Gray. Rock misses up and away. It is 1-1. The last 2 innings here, that's the best Ohio's looked really in weeks and potentially all year. 1-1. Swing and a miss through a breaking ball. And he had one of the better Big Ten hitters fooled there as he went off speed. 1-2 the count.
Especially considering the competition of how impressive these last 2 innings have been.
The 1-2 pitch from Joe Rock. That's fouled back over the screen. And we said not all midweek games are created equal. College baseball, unless you're in that at-large consideration, which obviously Ohio is not, midweek games sometimes get in the way of conference play. But tonight, this is a momentum-mounting midweek matchup. 1-2 pitch from Rock. Swinging a fly ball to right center field. Richardson eyes it. Now Fabic coming over, and he has the call and the ball in the right center field gap. Maybe about 10 feet in front of the warning track. Fabic helped his buddy out, Richardson, who might have been blinded by that light from the setting sun. Fly out to center, and that's a big out against one of the Big Ten's best. Here is Connor Pohl, who walked back in the fourth and grounded out in the second. 7-3 Ohio. We're in the top of the sixth. All the Bobcat runs coming in the last 2 offensive innings. Left on left here to Pohl. Breaking ball, dances in the zone for a strike. That was a 12-6 curveball, and the yellow hammer did some pounding there. It's 0-1. Rock finding himself. The 6'5 freshman delivers. Swing and a miss. Climbed the ladder there. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, Rock's got good stuff. Can vary the speed, vary the plane, hides the baseball well. So you get that added velocity because you're not able to track the baseball. Also tall, lanky, so he gets pretty close to the plate.
Feeling good out there, too. 0-2 the count. Bases clear, 1 gone. Here it is for the Buckeye cleanup hitter. Swinging a fly ball foul. Third base side out of play. Ohio has 40 wins all-time against Ohio State. This is meeting 126, and Ohio hasn't won since 1990. We've said that a lot tonight, but that adds to the emotion and the storylines as this continues. Ohio on top by 4. Rock turns, kicks, and rocks it home. Misses up and away, 1-2.
This has to be the sport that these 2 programs have met the most in, I'd imagine.
Yeah, would have to be. Twice in my tenure here, we've gone up there to play in football. One was close, the other one wasn't. 1-2 pitch with 1 gone. Called! Strike 3 on the outside edge. Rock is rocking that outside black to the left-handed hitter, and a word from Pohl to the home plate umpire. He has been choosy with his Ks today. That's 3 of them, and that's the first one of the looking variety.
It's just a great pitch. Rock has gotten better as this game's gone along. Didn't have a strikeout until the 4th inning. Now he's got 3 of them.
Here is Dylan Dingler, their 5-hole hitter, and their center fielder. Bobcats on top 7-3. Bases clear, 2 gone in the 6th. And the pitch. That's low. Took something off a fastball. It's 1-0. Crowd of maybe 2K here tonight. We had 2,300 here a couple of years ago when these 2 teams played. But Ohio is certainly playing much better tonight than they did then. And this is shot through the left side hole for a base hit. That was a line drive by Dingler. Squared it up for a 2-out single. The Buckeyes' 6th hit of the night.
Love to see Rock get through this inning. Smith said he'd love to see him get through 5, so if you can get him through 6, I mean, he would be incredibly happy with that. Gives you some more flexibility with the bullpen throughout the last 3 innings, because you want to try to win this game. With this amount of people here, it's a program momentum builder. You know, I don't expect Ohio to, ruin the weekend series by their pitching changes throughout this rest of this game, but they're going to go for a win, and they're going to go, I think, pretty hard for it.
Here is Zach DeZenzo. Their shortstop flew out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, right-handed hitter. And Ohio's done this in a variety of ways. Ohio has been choosy in steals on the base pass, a couple of them to get that 2nd run an inning ago. But obviously you have 2 home runs here. Ohio did have a string of 3 games when they scored 12 runs in a row, so this team has started to find it a little bit offensively as DeZenzo swings through a breaking ball. And that's why that Northern weekend was so frustrating, because in the 3 games prior, Ohio had timely hits on timely hits, and they just didn't get enough into Calb. Here they are.
In those 4 games in April, even though 3 of them are losses, they're still batting .300 as a team, which is their best month so far.
0-1 pitch coming. Line drive, center field, hit pretty well. Carrying back to the left center field gap. Fabic reaches down, makes the catch, holds the ball up to make sure everybody sees it. And that's out number 3. Fabulous play by Fabic as he plugged up the gap, and the Buckeyes are done in the 6th on a lined out by DeZenzo. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We head to the bottom of the 6th, 7-3 Ohio. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. Ohio State had a base runner in the top half, but Joe Rock made sure the Buckeyes didn't chisel into this 7-3 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Baden Root, new pitcher for the Buckeyes. He is the 3rd pitcher to be used tonight. Root's 6'3", 215, and a freshman from Kokomo, Indiana. Used to be a jewelry store in downtown Kokomo, Freed's Jewelers. My aunt, her father, so aunt by marriage, they had a jewelry store in downtown Kokomo, Indiana. And now they have a new Northwoods League team?
Yeah, Kokomo was always in the Prospect League. I actually was able to visit Kokomo when they were in the Prospect League, but they're the newest expansion team in the Northwoods League. So it's a baseball hub in Kokomo. A lot of good players come from there.
They have an Indiana University branch in Kokomo as well. And that Northwoods League is expanding
rapidly.
And a lot of those teams are in cities that used to be affiliated ball cities, but they found out that the weather's certainly better in the summer months and they could draw just as much and they don't have to open up the ballpark for as many dates. And thus, the Northwoods League has like 100 teams. Root is a right-handed pitcher for the Buckeyes. They have a staff ERA of 4.66. Ohio's, by comparison, is at 5.50. And Root is making his 12th appearance, 2-2 with a 3.48 ERA. Bottom of the 6th inning is on, and Cole Revels leads it off. Right on right, and the pitch is a strike. This is that time when the pitcher is in shadows mostly, and the batter, just by the sliver, is in spotlight sun, where the rest around him, he's in shadows. 0-1 bows him back. 1-1 the count. Lights on here at the Wren. You cannot dial up a better night for baseball here in Southeast Ohio. One of the best weather nights for a really fun opponent that we've had in my 11 years here. 1-1 pitch coming to Cole Revels. Bouncing ball chopped to the left side. DeZenzo is cut in front of by Irwin, who throws to first. And they get the runner by maybe a half a step. Revels retired, 5-3. Here's Nathan Millott.
You know, can I put up a claim for you and you can reject or deny it that's made by the Northwoods League?
Go for it.
They claim to be the largest baseball league in the world, which just means the most teams, and they've got 22.
I could believe that, yeah, absolutely.
Now, they are even saying that they're bigger than Major League Baseball because they're split into 2 leagues, the American League and the National League. So they're technically bigger than that would make them the largest baseball league in the world.
I guess from the semantic standpoint, yeah, that's true. There are multiple divisions, obviously.
I mean, are you going to grant it to them is my question.
I don't know if they need my stamp of approval, as Malott lines one on a sinking liner to short. DeZenzo extended his left leg and tucked back his right as he made the catch. Kind of a feet-first slide into the sinking line drive. And here's Sebastian Fabik. Bases empty, 2 gone. Last of the 6, 7-3 Ohio with the lead on Ohio State. Yeah, I guess from semantics, yeah, just from one league standpoint, if you're saying Major League Baseball is 2 leagues, then sure, that'd be right. But it's bigger than every other league that's not Major League Baseball. You take a look now, the PCL and the International League, those leagues are so big now.
Yeah.
I'd have to total up how many teams there are, but obviously they're split in 2. Pitch misses inside on Fabik, it's 1-1, so
yeah, I think it's 15
you half it off. Yeah, so no, that I answered my own question with a obvious answer. So yes, the Northwoods League is the biggest league of affiliated baseball. We figured it out. 1-1 pitch. There's a strike on the outside edge to Fabik. It's 1-2.
See, what the dirty secret is, some teams in some divisions don't play anybody in the other division, so it's like they're 2 separate leagues.
That's weird.
Yeah, you know, I had to go with it when I worked in the league, but I just wanted to say it out loud now that I didn't quite understand the claim.
That's okay. No bridges burnt. Bouncing ball wide of third, foul by Fabik, who was on via strikeout and then on an infield hit and then cut down to the base pass. 1-2 the count. Ohio with a grand slam tonight by Cole Revels, solo homer by Rudy Rote, and then they stole a run. 1-2 popped up, mile high. This is into right, very playable. Canzone is there, makes the catch, and the inning is done. Ohio goes down in order in the 6th. Bottom portion of the lineup. Ohio on top 7-3. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. First time since 1990. Lucas Moore wasn't born in 90, but he'll deliver you the play-by-play story here in the 7th from the Wren.
Next 3 batters up weren't born in 90 either. Brent Todes, Nolan Clegg, and Nick Irwin. 7, 8, 9 due up for the Buckeyes. Leading off this top of the 7th inning, Joe Rock, who Rob Smith at the pregame interview with Russ said, we'd love for him to get 5. Would really love for him to get 5. He went 5 innings, no runs against Morehead State in his last start. Well, here Joe Rock is walking into the top of the 7th inning against Ohio State, facing the bottom of the 3 of the order, and he's only had 69 pitches. As the first pitch to the catcher, Todes is an off-speed, called strike at the knees, and it's 0-1 for the lefty Rock. Going from the wind on the third base side of the rubber, Rock, the 0-1. Fastball fouled down the first base line. And it's an 0-2 advantage for Rock on Todes, and he's been working ahead of hitters this entire outing. And as the shade has completely fallen over Bob Wren Stadium, as the orange glow on the university buildings past center field signifies the arrival of evening. Fastball misses just below the knees at Todes, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Not many better settings for a college baseball stadium than the view you get from Bob Wren. Here's the 1-2. Soft ground ball right side directly at the first baseman Rote. He'll jog on over to first, and it's out number 1 of the inning. Joe Rock is through a 6 1/3. Now the 8-hole hitter Nolan Clegg, who had a home run in the 3rd, stepping up for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it's very rare that you see a great portion of campus at a lot of on-campus baseball parks. You just don't see it often in this league and elsewhere in the North. And you're right, this is a unique setting from that standpoint. You don't see a great deal of Ohio State's campus from their athletic facilities.
Clegg will square to bunt, pull it back. 1-0 on him. Yeah, theirs is more of a cityscape when you're
no doubt
close to their ballpark.
Yeah. I mean, Ohio State as a campus, I mean, that is a city unto itself, and a big city at that.
1-0. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike on Clegg.
And with them, and that Ohio State name, that carries a lot of weight in this state. That adds more weight to Ohio being on top by 4 right now.
7-3 in the top of the 7th. Strike on the inside corner called. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Nolan Clegg. Clegg responsible for 2 of the 3 Buckeye runs. It came in the top of the 3rd. He hit a fly ball to right field. Well hit, but carried out by the wind, blowing out to right for the home run. It's the 1-2 fastball misses above the shoulders of Clegg. The count evens up at 2-2. That home run was 2nd of the year for him. RBI number 12. Now the 2-2. Line drive, left field line, and it will fall. One hopping before the wall, cutting it off, was Trevor Lucas, but sliding into second safely, just barely with a double, is Nolan Clegg, his 2nd double of the season. And he'll rock the baby in celebration as Ohio State has a runner in scoring position with 1 out, down by 4 here in the top of the 7th inning.
That had a weird sound to it off of the bat. And if you're around metal bats often, you'll know a difference as to where it is hit on the bat. If that was full on the barrel, that would have been gone. But the flare and the hump to the line drive there, you could just tell it was hitting an odd angle off of that bat. Just made a weird sound.
It's more of a pang than a ping.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Of course, those BB core bats, the new standard throughout high school and college baseball.
A little different now than it was in '90.
Strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Not really much regulation, I'd imagine, in 1990 for those aluminum bats.
Yeah, you go back in the day, and steroids were a part of it in some programs. Not going to name programs, but you knew that that was there. And then you add the old bats and juiced up guys. Oh my gosh, they pound the ball all over the place. It was unfair. It was dangerous.
And as soon as you saw the introduction as the 0-1, called strike of the inside corner on the 9-hole hitter Irwin. 0 for 2 today. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and a runner on second. Ohio up by 4, top of the 7th, Buckeyes at the plate. Soon as you saw the introduction of the BB core bats, the way home runs dropped off in high school and college baseball was really insane to see.
Sure. Guys had to adjust. Guys had to be hitters as opposed to just swinging a bat.
Those bats used to have 3 times the pop, literally 3 times the pop when you look at the numbers as these current BB core, which are meant to, replicate the pop that comes off a wood bat. This fastball misses low and in, 1-2. But the advantage of metal over wood is still they can create a bigger sweet spot. The manufacturers can. More consistency in the back. They could weight the bat towards the top or bottom depending on the hitter.
Now, Ohio State is a program, just their overall athletic program, they could probably afford a season's worth of wooden bats.
Oh,
the MAC, not really.
1-2, chopper right side at the second baseman Hafner, fielded chest high, toss on to first, out number 2 of the inning. Jogging on to third was Clegg, so advancing the runner, the 9-hole hitter Irwin. Ohio State will swing around to the top of their lineup with Dominic Canzone, with the runner on third and 2 outs.
And so that's a good point. If we look back to the last time that Ohio beat Ohio State in 1990, college baseball was just different then. It was a different sport then. And you can obviously talk about Major League Baseball, the dead ball era that was prior to 1920. This is the live ball era. Well, this is the new bat era, and generations are playing in it.
Fastball called strike of the outside corner, 0-1 on Canzone. 1 for 3 today. But it's a good thing because there were kids dying at the high school level from these bats, how powerful they were.
Without a doubt. And it's a sad story that it had to take that to get the bats changed.
The 0-1. Chopped foul down the first base line. It's 0-2. 2 outs. Runner on third for Ohio State. They trail 7-3 in the top of the 7th. Joe Rock on the mound for his 7th inning of work. It's been fantastic tonight.
This really could not have gone any better to this point. The weather, the opponent, the atmosphere, the production, trailing, and now leading by 4.
The 0-2. Off the plate away. Wasting a pitch there, Joe Rock, not trying to be too aggressive to the 328 leadoff hitter, Canzone. Part of this really dominant Ohio State lineup in Big Ten play. 3rd in batting average, 3rd in runs scored, 2nd in home runs. And they're doing that with a 2-4 record in conference near the bottom. The 1-2 misses low and away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs.
That adds more weight from Ohio State's standpoint on this game tonight. And if there's any Big Ten attitude or big name attitude, that had to be left at the door when they have the losing streak and the week that they have to come up here, and that adds more weight to what Ohio's doing.
2-2 missed away, and that'll score a run as it kicks by the catcher Malon. And it's 7-4 as the run crosses the plate, scoring Nolan Clegg after doubling with 1 out in the inning.
Never want to make those mistakes, but it's a lot easier to make those mistakes and live with it when you have a multiple run lead. And Ohio's still up by 3 here in the 7th, but you also don't want to give Ohio State a chance for it to be easier on them.
Seeing if that's ruled. It is ruled a wild pitch, so that'll be the quality start out the door for Joe Rock. So here's the 3-2. Lifted out of play down the 3rd base line. But if he can get through this 7th, with just allowing 4 runs and leaving with a 3-run lead, I mean, Joe Rock will be thrilled with that performance on a Tuesday evening here in Athens. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on for Ohio State. 7-4 lead Ohio. The pitch from Rock. Just missed. Low and away. Ball 4. Heading to first, Canzone.
And that was nibbling there, to be sure. And that was also to induce maybe a swing and a miss on a pitch that a hitter wouldn't be able to do enough with. And Rob Smith out of the dugout now.
We'll see if this is the end of Rock's day. He's at 6 2/3 innings pitched. He's thrown 20 pitches in this inning to get him up to 89. Not 100% positive what Rock's limit is in terms of pitch count. We'll see if Smith decides to take the ball or not. 1 run in this top of the 7th for Ohio State. Ohio still leading 7-4 on the strength of a grand slam by Cole Revels back at the bottom of the 4th inning. A 5-run 4th for the Ohio Bobcats. First time they had scored against Ohio State in 23 innings, dating back to 2016.
And the night for Joe Rock's going to be done. And what a night it was.
So we'll go ahead and step aside and find out who the new pitcher is for the Bobcats. 2 outs, 7-4 lead for Ohio. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. 4.11 ERA. He relieves Joe Rock, whose line yet to be finished. He's responsible for Ganzone on first, who was walked, but as of now, 6 2/3 innings, Russ, for Joe Rock, and 4 runs allowed, and a 3-run lead against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And you asked the question earlier, how would Ohio use its bullpen, the pieces down there? A lot of times in a midweek game, regardless of opponent, you might try out some guys that normally don't get run or don't get work in weekend series, conference series. Well, Camrata is a conference guy. He's a guy that's done a lot of heavy lifting, and he's in there tonight. And that shows you how important this is in that third base dugout for Ohio to get this win over the Buckeyes here in Athens. 2 gone here in the 7th.
4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Ohio State. 7 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Bobcats. Camrata, the righty, will toss over to first to check on the leadoff hitter for Ohio State, Dominic Ganzone, who was walked in Rock's final battle of the night. Kobe Foppe at the plate, 0 for 3 tonight. Fielder's choice in the 3rd. Fastball misses away, and it's 1-0 to begin the at-bat to Kobe Foppe. First pitch for Camrata is a ball. Camrata out of Grand Ledge, Michigan. It's called strike on the outside corner, and it's 1-1. 4-season pitching, significant time for Camrata. They tried him out as a starter back in 2016-17. Went 0-2 with a 3.74 ERA. Shifted to the bullpen exclusively last year. Ball foul tipped back by Foppe, and the count 1-2 in favor of Camrata. Last season, really a fantastic year out of the pen in his redshirt junior campaign. 26 2/3 innings, 2.7 ERA. Actually walked more than he struck out, but was able to keep that ERA sub-3. And he's trying to escape the 7th inning, holding an Ohio 3-run lead. The 1-2, fastball high, missed, 2-2 on Kobe Foppe. Runner on first, and 2 outs for the Buckeyes here in the top of inning number 7. Camrata look in. Comes set, glove next to his right ear. The righty delivers. Lifted down the right field line. It'll be an easy play for the right fielder, Richardson. Allowing one run in the inning was Ohio, but they'll still lead 7-4 over the Ohio State Buckeyes. 7th inning stretch time at Bob Wren Stadium. And this is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Consistently throughout this one, and nice little 7th inning stretch. Fans able to stretch out throughout the ballpark. Ohio will try to stretch their 3-run lead here in the bottom of the 7th. They lead 7-4 over the Ohio State Buckeyes. All 7 of the runs for the Bobcats coming in the 4th and 5th inning. Ohio State got a response run in the top of the 7th after leading 3-0. And it'll be the top of the lineup for the Bobcats: Lucas, Levy, and Rotes. The 3 due up for Ohio. Trevor Lucas today, single in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. And we'll await the pitch from the righty for Ohio State. It's a strike on the inside corner. Baden Root, the right-handed pitcher out of Kokomo, Indiana, on for his second inning of work. The 0-1 to Lucas. Fastball away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Question is, will 7 runs win this ball game? You don't want to put that to chance, but can Ohio get it done without scoring another run? Potentially.
Pitching has been the problem for Ohio this season at times, along with the lackluster hitting early as the 1-1 misses away. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. 5.57 ERA for Ohio, but in the 4 games in April, got that ERA down to 3.82. They've been better in conference play as well, a 4.85 ERA. Here's the 2-1. Off-speed called strike, and the count even at 2-2 on Lucas.
To add to that point from an offensive standpoint, coming into the weekend against Bowling Green, that's 2 MAC weekends ago now, the team average was sub 200. It's in the low 230s now, which is a monumental leap for a team.
2-2, off the handle, hit on the infield. Pitcher will come off the mound and make the play. Easy for Root. And it's out number 1 as Lucas is retired.
Ohio still is in last place from a hitting standpoint, from an average standpoint, but you have to go through gradients of what that means. Ohio middle of the pack in pitching and near the bottom in fielding. Kent State, for whatever reason, they've just really struggled fielding the ball. In the MAC tournament and elsewhere, they're the worst fielding team in the league, the Golden Flashes.
First pitch to Levy is a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Bobcats have been better here at Bob Wren, too. 258 compared to 210 in terms of batting average. And a lot of that has to do with that huge weekend series when they were in the double digits multiple times. As the off-speed misses low, and it's 1-1. On Aaron Levy. Levy tonight 0 for 3. Struck out looking back in the 5th. Sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the 7th. Ohio leading 7-4. Off speed, swung over. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on the lefty Levy. Coming set, the righty Root. The 1-2. Foul off the handle. Here the Bobcat dugout, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boy, but nights like these at a stadium like this, they can be special, and a few times in Ohio's history they've been able to capture crowds like this. Ohio State was one a couple years ago, 2,300 in attendance at that game. As the 1-2 swung on and missed in the dirt by Levy, and it's out number 2. So Ohio State will whip it around. Second strikeout swinging for Levy. And Rudy Rote will step to the plate. Rote's had one heck of a night. Home run to left center field in the 5th. Singled in the 4th. Hit a double in the 1st. He's hit it to off fields. A single to center field. The double down the right field line. The home run just underneath the scoreboard here at Bob Wren Stadium in left center. The senior Rote from Holman, Wisconsin. Awaits the pitch from Root. Swing and a miss. Big hack from Rudy. He wanted that thing onto the softball field. Instead, he's in an 0-1 hole with 2 outs. Ohio leading 7-4. The righty Root to lefty Rote. Missed high. And it's 1-1. Trevor Hafner in the on-deck circle for Ohio if Rote can find a way to get on base. Here at Bob Wren Stadium, players playing on the Nicholson family turf, newly installed this season, as the off-speed pitch swung on and missed, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Really a needed addition for the Ohio baseball program, really frees up your schedule in terms of the rough weather that I know a lot of us have experienced in the great state of Ohio, especially when college baseball is underway. The 1-2. Rote swings and misses. It's in the dirt. Getting some space down the first base line, Toadies, and he'll throw out Rote to complete the strikeout and complete the inning as well. No runs for the Bobcats in the bottom of the 7th. We head to the final 2 frames. Ohio 7, Ohio State 4. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB.
big night, fun night, Instagrammable night here at Bob Wren Stadium. I would guess that this is the most Instagrammable and Twitter pictured night that this ballpark has seen in some time.
Are you on the gram, Russ?
I'm on Twitter.
I haven't seen you on the gram.
I thought about it. Probably should do it. Think it'd be cool. Anyway, Nick Camrata still on. Bouncing ball towards third. Flagged there by Levy. Throws to first in time. And Ohio State's Nolan Clegg. Sorry. Ohio State's Brady Cherry is retired. This is 3, 4, and 5. That is a 5-3 putout. Cherry, one of the best hitters in the Big Ten, is 1 for 4 this evening. Here's Connor Pohl. And Rob Smith out of that third base dugout. And he's going to make a pitching change right now.
I think he left Camrata on to get Cherry, and he did his job. And he get a new arm in.
Very effective night for the Bobcats. And Ohio on top by 3. And they get Cherry. Connor Pohl is their cleanup hitter. And he'll face a new Bobcat arm here in the top of the 8th. Bases clear, 1 gone, 7-4 Bobcats. We'll tell you about the new Bobcat arm after this 60-second pause. From the Wren, this is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WEB. Pennsylvania, Michigan, PA on the mound for the Bobcats tonight. Actually, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio. Nick Burns into the ball game for the Bobcats. Burns is out of Cincinnati, 6'2", 189, and a junior. And he will take the ball here in the top of the 8th inning with Ohio on top 7-4. Nick Burns on for the Bobcats with 1 gone and the bases clear. Burns, 4.50 ERA, 13 appearances now 14, 10 innings of work, 5 runs, 5 hits, all the runs earned. 6 walks, 12 strikeouts for Mr. Burns. And he'll face off against the cleanup hitter for the Buckeyes, Connor Pohl. And the pitch. That's low and inside. It's 1-0. Pohl walked, grounded out, struck out. And Ohio's done good work against the middle part of this Ohio State lineup. 1-0. There's a strike and a change of pace. It is 1-1. 1 gone. We're in the 8th. And Ohio leads it 7-4. Left on left here. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Tailed away from the left-handed batter. 1-2 the count. Ohio against Toledo this weekend. And this is a heck of a way to try to get there with a whole lot of momentum. Burns, the kick and the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Mr. Burns gets Connor Pohl. That's the second time he goes down tonight. Burns on the strikeout. Here is Dylan Dingler, their center fielder and 5-hole hitter. Bobcats down 3-0 to start, and then up 7-4. And Rob Smith's just having fun with his bullpen because Burns was on to tackle the left-handed batter and going to go to the bullpen now again. Matching things up here in the 8th, having fun on top against the Big Ten. We'll pause 60 seconds for a pitching change. 2 gone, bases clear, top of the 8th. 7-4 Ohio with the lead on Ohio State. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WEB. Dell, 5'11", 165, and a freshman from Ann Arbor, Michigan. How about that? They take on Michigan. Ohio State does this upcoming weekend. Bitter rivals in everything. And Eamon Horwedel, who probably grew up a Michigan fan, will get on the rubber against that school from down south. And you've got the numbers on Eamon Horwedel.
He's made some starts this year, struggled at him. 17 and a third innings pitched at 10.38 ERA. But you look at his game log and how he's done out of the bullpen, done very well. In his last outing, didn't allow a run, allowed just 1 run in the outing before that. Got an inning in DeKalb back on April 7th, did very well in it. Hopefully he repeats that performance, trusted in a righty-righty matchup.
Life's amazing, isn't it? An Ann Arbor native against Ohio State, and the first one to Dingler misses outside. It's 1-0.
My favorite stories are high school football recruits from Ann Arbor trying to play at Ohio State. Because you know just they're rebelling against everybody in their high school.
It's just ingrained on both sides. 2-0 the count. Players from Ohio going up to Michigan to play in any sport.
That's what makes the rivalry so intense, is all that crossover state to state.
2-0 pitch coming. Fly ball foul. First base side out of play. Now there might be some Bobcats in that third base dugout that grew up Ohio State fans, I would imagine. And then you got to flip the script and flip that switch to try to beat the team that you probably grew up being a fan of.
Well, some of them have probably not liked Ohio State their whole life, too.
That could be. There's some of that. Schools and athletic programs that have won so much, they are that Goliath. They inspire both sides. 2-2 the count, 2 gone on Dylan Dingler. Open stance, silver and red bat. Takes one outside, 3-2 the count. 2 gone, we're in the 8th. And Ohio's on top 7-4. If you missed us, you missed a lot. 5 runs in the 4th inning. A 2 spot for the Cats in the 5th. A solo shot for Rudy Rote. Grand slam home run for Cole Revels tonight. Payoff pitch, cut on foul, first base side towards the cherry blossoms. And we'll do it again at 3-2. Bobcats trying to end this 3-game losing streak and trying to beat Ohio State for the first time since 1990. 3-2 the count, 2 gone, top of the 8th. 7-4 Ohio with the lead. Horwedel from the stretch. Dingler waits, shoots it foul again, first base side out of play. My first year at Ohio went up to Ohio State and had a lead going into the 4th quarter.
I believe, isn't that the game where the famous Rufus beating up Brutus picture came from, or was that from the next one?
I think it was the next one. 3-2, chopped foul by the Ohio dugout. That's not a story that is often told publicly in the athletic department, but now that we're several years away from it, It's a really wild story that happened, and it sounds like a tall tale.
Yeah, but a lot of people really idolize that picture.
Yeah. 3-2, little chin music. It's ball 4. Dingler on. I'm sure you could Google it, and the picture's out there. Zach DeZenzo is the batter now for Ohio State. 252 hitter coming in, 0 for 3 tonight. 2 gone, runner at first, 7-4, Buckeyes trail. We're here in the top of the 8th.
This is the risk of going righty-lefty, righty-lefty. You don't know which of your guys you're going to bring out doesn't have their stuff that night. And Horwedel, a pretty decent at-bat, had a few pitches near the corners, but it's always the risk. When you play the righty-lefty matchups, that one guy will go out there and be a little off and walk a guy. And then you never know how an inning can unravel, but just one out in front for Horwedel. Don't really need to worry about the runner at first. Just make some pitches.
And there's a cushion. Right now, 3 runs. There's a strike. It is 0-1 on DeZenzo. They've got Dayton tomorrow night. They've got Michigan this weekend. Ohio's got Toledo coming up in a big series here at the Wren, a winnable series here against a Rocketball club that really hasn't exploded for many wins this year. 0-1 pitch coming from Horwedel with the runner bluffing at first. There's a strike. It is 0-2. Cut across the plate to the right-handed hitter. And you're right. How often are you going to see everybody out of the pen be that strong as the guy before when you make matchups? But the good thing about tonight is everybody's done their job. And this is working out as good as it can, as good as you'd hope for. 0-2 pitch. Up and in. That was at the letters and inside. 1-2 the count.
Well, what a manager would say in response to me is like, it's my expectation as a manager that everybody has their best stuff that night. You know, and,
sure.
and that's a realistic expectation, especially when you're a specialist out of the bullpen. You're expected to have your stuff at all times.
I expected you to have your best stuff tonight. 1-2 cut on off of Horwedel, ricochets towards third, and everybody's going to be safe. That clipped the lower portion of his leg, and I couldn't tell which one it was, but you could hear it. And our crowd microphone just smacked it off. He had the glove down there too. I don't know if it clipped off of that webbing as well. He's okay, so you would figure that it probably was just off of the glove.
It might have skipped the leg, but I don't think anything they're going to need to worry about. What you really need to worry about is a tying run at the plate with a team that can hit a home run with everybody in the lineup.
Brent Todes, who is their catcher, tonight doubled. That was in the 3rd. Tying runner at the plate, 2 gone. We're in the 8th. It just got pretty real here, pretty quick. Right on right. And the pitch. Misses outside. It is 1-0. There is activity in Ohio's pen. Ohio was down 3-0, then on top 5-3, now on top 7-3, then 7-4. As we're in the 8th, under the lights here at the Wren. So an infield single for DeZenzo. That one misses outside to Todes. It is 2-0.
Yeah, you're in real trouble. You let him go.
Ohio State 16-16. On the road, 5-7 this year. Ohio is 5-7 at home. 2-0 the count, 2 gone. Runners on first and second. Horwedel delivers. Fouled back off the fist to the screen. It's 2-1. Fourth pitcher to be used tonight for the Bobcats after Joe rocked it into the 7th. 2-1 the count with 2 away. And here it is to the Buckeyes 7-hole hitter. Swung through, tried to check up against a breaking ball. Count level at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Sitting fastball. And he got an off-speed pitch and was not ready for it.
Buckeyes in the gray uniforms, scarlet sleeves, scarlet helmets. Ohio in the green tops, white bottoms. Trying to get through the 8th. 2-2 the count, 2 gone. Ohio on top by 3. This is a huge pitch coming up against a .241 hitter. Here it is from Horwedel on 2-2. Swinging a fly ball to left, hit very well. This is deep, this is trouble. It's back to the warning track of the wall, leaping, and that ball is gone. It's a 3-run home run. We're tied at 7. Lucas leapt at the wall, and it just barely cleared that green barrier. And the Buckeyes have tied it up at 7. Toadi's 3rd home run of the year. RBIs 12, 13, and 14. No better than when we started. And the Buckeyes have leveled this thing at 7. Rob Smith out of the dugout. Pitching change now.
Yeah, this game changes quick. Very quick. That's why you just can't make any little mistakes. You can't mess around. You can't think you can put 2 guys on. When Ohio State's got a lineup like they have, they're one of the best hitting teams in the Big Ten. That makes them one of the best hitting teams in the country. And they can punish you and punish you quick, and that's exactly what they did.
Got under it, and it was hit to the perfect part of the ballpark. Just a foot beyond that wall, it appeared. And Lucas went back there and tried to leap, but he ran into the wall as he tried to climb it. 2 gone, we're in the 8th, 3 already in for the Buckeyes. Ohio goes to the pen for the 4th time tonight, 5th pitcher to be used here, as we're tied at 7. Ohio and Ohio State, 60-second pause for the pitching change. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. Buckeyes just hit a 3-run, just clear the fence homer by Brett Toadies, and here is Nolan Clegg, their 8-hole hitter. He takes a strike from the new Bobcat pitcher that's into the game here in the 8th. Braxton Kelly.
Kelly, 2 starts this year, 10 appearances, 8 out of the bullpen, a 7.71 ERA. He's given up runs in 4 straight appearances.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. So Ohio had a 7-3 lead. Then it was 7-4. Now we're tied at 7. Clegg, he homered earlier. That was wind blown to right. That just barely missed outside. 1-2 the count. That was back in the 3rd. And then doubled and scored in the 7th. He's had a good night. Gets under 1 here, pops it back of home and out of play. Tied up at 7.
Yeah, if you're Ohio, you got to say, hey, would you have liked to have been tied at 7 if they can get this out heading into the bottom of the 8th before the game? You would say yes. So that's kind of how you got to look at this thing. Move on, keep hitting.
Yeah, now, obviously there are different layers to that about how we've arrived to this point. 1-2 from Kelly. Called strike 3. At the belt, a fastball. I don't know what he'd have to complain about. That was over, and that was right in the zone. Not everything needs to be exactly right down the middle between the belt buckle and the knees. But a huge strikeout for Braxton Kelly, but a huge homer for the Buckeyes. Brent Todes goes deep, and we're tied at 7 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. Tied up at 7. 7-0 for the green and white. 7-9-0 for the scarlet and gray. The 126th all-time meeting between these two schools. Ohio looking for win number 41 and the first one since 1990. And Baden Root still out there for the Buckeyes. And Ohio will have it with Trevor Hafner to start it off. This is Hafner. This is Richardson. This is Funderburg scheduled. Hafner was hit by a pitch earlier, walked earlier. He's walked twice tonight, in fact, and here it is, swing and a miss. That was dipping and diving all over the place. Good pitch, it's 0-1.
And Hafner, your 4-hole hitter. Really what you want out of this inning, Ohio, if you're not going to score, at least get 5 or 6 guys to the plate to try to set up the top of the lineup for the bottom of the 9th.
Next one in the field turf, it is 1-1.
But a 1-2-3 is a disaster, and that's not what you want heading into the 9th.
That's right.
Got to get some runners on.
Yep. Never easy, is it?
It's a difficult game, for sure.
That it is. Count level at a ball and a strike. Bottom of the 8th and the pitch. That's just low. I think Root wanted that, didn't get it.
Well, because if you go 1-2-3, now you're looking at 7, 8, 9 for the bottom of the 9th. And no manager wants to be in that type of situation, especially with Ohio State's offense. You don't know if you're going to go to the bottom of the 9th with a tie game.
This is like blackjack. What's the shuffle? What's the card placement? 2-1, fouled back. It is 2-2.
But different than blackjack, you can stack the cards in your favor by having good at-bats and getting on base.
Unless you're counting cards and then they kick you out of the casino.
Is that technically illegal?
It's frowned upon.
Frowned upon?
It's just bad form, especially if you win.
I heard frown. I didn't hear illegal.
2-2. Low and outside. 3-2. How about this? You try it and see how it works.
I'm not that good at math. There's a reason that I'm at the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism.
No. I graduated from the Harvard of Southern Illinois University. 3-2 the count. Hafner hanging in there. The cleanup hitter for the Cats and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Good pitch. Slider low and away. Man.
That's just a good pitch from Root. That's a beautiful. There's not much you can do. 3-2. You're protecting. Looked like a fastball diving right for the outer half of the plate, and it just fell off the table. To have the guts to throw that pitch, 3-2 count. Not much you can do there if you're Hafner.
I like this kid. Root's a freshman. He's a freshman. One gone. Here's Michael Richardson. Tonight struck out, reached on a fielder's choice, popped out, takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Yeah, freshman with a 3.48 ERA. And that's over 20 innings.
Tied up at 7. We're in the 8th. And the pitch. Low and away. 1-1.
32 Ks, too, heading into this one.
Oof. Sounding better and better.
Just 224 opponent batting average against.
You just keep talking that talk. 1-1 to count, one gone. Bottom of the 8th, ball game tied at 7. There's a strike. He really tries to pinpoint that outside edge, and he does a good job with it.
No, his arm motion is really repeatable from that fastball to the slider. It looks exactly the same out of the hand and halfway to the plate.
You are like Max McDougall in a lot of ways. 1-2 pitch coming up. Hit the spot, but just outside the zone. It's 2-2.
There are certain people in my life that would not like to hear that statement.
2-2 the count. One gone, bases clear, bottom of the 8th. Well, he sees the game well, and you do too. Pitch coming up. Low and outside, backhand stop.
Yeah, he thinks he sees it well till he's umpiring one of my games, and he doesn't see anything.
Does he umpire for you?
On occasion. He's definitely umpired a game that I've coached. Which, we kept it fair, by the way. No collusion whatsoever. In fact, I think he pulled calls the other way for me to try to prove that we weren't colluding.
But was there obstruction?
I don't think so.
That pitch misses low and outside, goes back to the backstop. Richardson had the walk, and there was a chance there if he was sprinting down to first that potentially he could have made the turn to go to second. Here's Traben Funderburg. So Ohio has the go-ahead runner aboard with one gone at the bottom of the 8th. Ball game tied at 7.
If I'm Rob Smith, I'm not needing to score a run, but I'm wanting one of the next 2 hitters to get on base. If we can get to the 9-hole hitter to start the bottom of the 9th, that's exactly where you want to be, because you'll be in a situation, if things go right, to have Rudy Rowe up to the plate with runners in scoring position.
Trey struck out twice, looking and swinging, had an infield hit as well. One of Ohio's 7 tonight. Long blonde hair out of the back of that batter's helmet. Looks down to Craig Morin, the third base coach's box. He's actually beyond the box. 1-0 the count, one away. Root from the stretch. He's worked there the whole time, and the pitch. That's low. Just barely low. It was over, but low. 2-0.
You know, I think if they move those coaches' boxes back, they would actually stand in front of the box. I just don't think they like to stand in boxes.
Probably not. Think outside the box. Root from the stretch. Funderburg waits. Here it is with the runner going. Hit and run on. Bouncing ball back to the mound, and the runner moving actually eliminated the double play. Root had that stick in his glove. He ran halfway and flipped to the first baseman pole for the out. So good job at starting the runner and eliminating the double play. 1-3 if you're scoring along with us. Here's Cole Revels, the DH. All he did tonight was hit a grand slam home run, which is probably better than what you did today. You as in anybody. I mean, a grand slam home run, I mean, that's awesome. Ohio State's going to make a visit to the mound now, and there might be a change.
Yep.
There is. 2 gone in the 8th. Runner in scoring position. Cole Revels hit a granny earlier. If he hits one now, a 2-run shot, Ohio be on top 9-7. As it stands, runner at second, 2 gone. Ball game tied at 7, bottom of the 8th. We'll tell you about the new Buckeye pitcher after this 60-second pause. From Athens, this is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. We'll give you scores here, but a pitching change first. New Buckeye arm, Andrew Magno. Andrew Magno, 5'11", 190, and a junior from Dublin. And his numbers?
4.42 ERA. It'll be his 15th appearance, all coming out of the bullpen. 18 and a third innings pitched in those 14. 14 strikeouts, 9 walks, 254 opponent batting average against. So, solid middle relief guy. They'll decide to use him in the 8th. Be interesting to see if Ohio State uses their best bullpen arms in this game as we get later on, or whether they're going to stick with their middle relief guys in this midweek action. We know Ohio values this win, but is Ohio State going to burn some arms when they've got a series against the team up north, Michigan, coming up this weekend? It'll be interesting to see what Beals does.
And another midweek game tomorrow. With Lucas Moore, I'm Russ Eisenstein. Big at-bat here for Cole Revels, who hit a granny earlier. 2 gone, runner at second in the pitch. There's a strike. It is 0-1. In the MAC tonight, Dayton beat Toledo. Dayton will play Ohio State tomorrow. Dayton 12, Toledo 9. Miami wins over Wright State in the Joe Nuxall Classic 7-6. 0-1. That's low. 1-1 the count. Ball State 12, Butler 5. That was in Muncie. Canisius clobbered Kent State 13-2. Central Michigan 24, Oakland 10.
Is that a football score?
Sure. Oakland just started football. No, they didn't. 1-1. Line shot, right center field. It will get down base hit. Cole Revels just gave Ohio a lead on a single to right center. 8-7 Cats. Have a night, Cole Revels. Grand slam and a go-ahead single. Scoring without a play at the plate is Richardson. How about that? Redshirt freshman Cole Revels reveling in his real rounded out work tonight. Goodness, a grand slam shot and then an RBI smash to right center, a single, and Ohio's on top 8-7. Revel in it.
Timely hitting, clutch hitting. That's what you need to win games. That's what you need to win close games. That's what you need to make the MAC tournament, and they're getting it from Cole Revels tonight.
Timely hitting. Big swing and a miss for Nathan Millard. He tried to clear the batter's eye. It is 0-1. 8-7 Ohio in the bottom of the 8th. You could revel in the fact that Ohio's on top by a run on Ohio State. The 0-1, that's outside. 1-1 the count. 2 gone here in the 8th. So Ohio is 3 outs away from knocking off the Buckeyes for the first time since 1990, and nobody in that dugout, with the exception of the coaching staff, was born yet. Throw to first, chases the runner back. And how about that for Ohio to answer? A 3 spot on a round tripper for the Buckeyes in the top half of the inning. And to come back with something here in the 8th, with 2 gone, mind you. There's a strike. It's 1-2 on Millard, who tonight is 0 for 3.
Well, it just kind of shows the comeback they've made in terms of their offense all season long when they were below 200 heading into the BG series, and now they've turned it around to get nearly to 230. They keep coming back.
Strike 3 called to Millard. Inning over. But Cole Revels reveling in the fact that he's brought in 5 tonight. A grand slam homer in the 4th and a go-ahead single here in the 8th. Ohio leads 8-7 as we go to the 9th, trying to close out the crew from Columbus. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB. since 1990. The Bobcats have dropped 11 in a row to Ohio State. And right now, the Cats are on top 8-7 here in Athens. 8-8-0 for the green and white. 7-9-0 for the scarlet and gray. Bobcat closer in now. Brett Manis on for the Cats, and Lucas Moore has the numbers.
4 saves this year for Manis. This would be his 5th. It is a save opportunity. He's got 19 innings pitched, a 2.37 ERA. He's awesome. He's incredible. He's the guy you want on the mound in this type of situation. Lefty, righty, throw it out the window. Brett Manis is your best pitcher out of the bullpen, and he gets to try to do it against Ohio State and do something that an Ohio team hasn't done in 29 years.
A 1-2-3 inning would be prescribed because if somebody gets on, one of the best hitters in the Big Ten and in the country, Brady Cherry, looms. Nick Irwin, the 9-hole hitter and third baseman, takes a popping fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. He tonight is 0 for 3. Ohio trying to do something that hasn't happened since 90. And something that's happened just 40 times previously and now 126 meetings in the series. There's a strike on the inside edge to Irwin, who is buckling his knees and moving back. 0-2 the count. Ohio State has 85 wins in the series. Ohio has 40. The 0-2 pitch from Manis, swinging a bouncing ball left side off the glove of the diving Levy and ricochets in a shallow left. And so much for the 1-2-3 inning. Barring a double play, Brady Cherry's going to bat. And we go topside now to Dominic Canzone, who is a very good hitter in his own right.
And that was Manis knowing exactly what you were saying, that Cherry is at the 4 spot in the order for the inning. And you want to be you don't want to put the 9-hole hitter on. You want to be aggressive, and Ohio State going to go ahead and put in a pinch runner in this situation, which makes a lot of sense. But Manis was just trying to be too aggressive, left something for the 9-hitter. Now you're going to have to work with somebody on.
Didn't see the number as to the pinch runner. Left on left here for Manis against Canzone, who tonight singled, walked, ground out, ground out. Nobody gone. We're in the top of the 9th. Leadoff man on for the Buckeyes. Pinch runner, Ridge Winand, W-I-N-A-N-D. 6'2", 200, 5th-year senior from Butler, Ohio. And the pitch. Canzone swings and fouls it off the mask of Malott. It is 0-1. Bobcats trailed 3-0, then a 5 spot in the 4th. Led 7-3 with the 2 spot in the 5th. Buckeyes scratched 1 back in the 7th and then tied it in the 8th. Ohio with the Revels rope of a single to right center gives Ohio an 8-7 lead. We're in the 9th. The 0-1 pitch coming square to bunt. Stabbed at it. It's a strike. Throw down to first. Back in time. 0-2 the count.
Boy, what a heads-up play from everybody involved. Nearly a snapback, catching the runner at first, which is interesting. Pinch run. Winand is yet to attempt a stolen base this year, so he's not in there to take second.
0-2 the count. Manis looks in for the sign. Pant legs pulled up to his knees. Black stirrups, white spikes, black glove. Kick and a throw to first. Ohio's been out hit tonight 10-8. Run and hit economy, 8 runs on 8 hits. On a beautiful night in Southeast Ohio. Cats trying to make it perfect. 0-2, stuck the bat on the ball, rolls it up the middle. It's flagged there, to the bag 1, on the first, late. Hafner gloved it, ran towards the bag. That ball actually guided him there, but it would have been tough for him to make that turn throw to first accurately. So a fielder's choice for unassisted. Canzone on. Here is Kobe Foppe.
Not necessarily a bad play from Hafner. You like getting the out in that situation, but the only way you'd have been able to turn a double play is give a little glove flip, but that's dangerous because if it goes awry, you put runners on first and second.
No doubt about it. This is the 2-hole hitter. Not eye-popping numbers. Hitless in 4 trips to the plate tonight. 1 gone in the 9th. Ohio hanging on, 8-7. Manis comes to the belt. And the pitch. High and wide. 1-0. Last year, Ohio lost to Ohio State 4-0. That was April the 10th, so nearly a year ago to the day. Lost 3-0 in 2017. A close pickoff throw to first. But back in time was Wren. 2016 here in Athens, Ohio lost 6-3 in front of 2,348. Tonight, a big crowd, too. 1-0 pitch from Manis. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Buckeyes, who went to the NCAA tournament last year, had 36 wins last year. 16-16. Ohio trying to get to 9 wins on this season with the victory tonight and build a lot of momentum into the weekend. 1-1 the count, 1 gone, top of the 9th, runner at first. Manis straightens up. A long look at first. And the pitch. That missed. Malott tried to frame it up. It was over but high. He tried to snatch it down into the zone.
He made it look good for sure.
2-1 the count.
Love the variation Manis has in terms of his delivery to the plate. Slide step on occasion. Sometimes he pulls the leg up. Really confuses the base runner and whining a guy who hasn't even stolen a base this season.
2-1. That's way outside. Malott had to snare that. 3-1 the count. On deck is Brady Cherry. Double play ends it. 3-1 pitch coming with 1 gone and a runner at first, and Ohio on top by a run. Ball 4. Just a bit high and wide. 2 aboard now. Wren up to second. Foppe draws the walk. And be very, 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 very careful here. Top 10 in a ton of categories in the Big Ten. Brady Cherry, right-handed hitter, 346 coming in, singled in the first. He is 1 for 4 tonight. He has a couple of home runs, 3 of them. He's brought in 29 this year. 1 gone, runners on first and second, 8-7 Cats. Cherry with the slightly closed stance. And the pitch from Manis. There it is on an off-speed delivery. It's a strike. It's 0-1.
Hey, this is what closers sign up for. Best hitter at the plate, go-ahead run, on base. This is what you're made for. This is exactly the situations you have to pitch out of. Let's see if Manis is made for it.
The Cats are 2 outs away from one of their bigger midweek wins in recent memory. 0-1 the count with 1 gone. We're in the 9th. Runners on first and second. Here it is from Manis. Hit the spot, but outside the zone. It's 1-1.
Got to be careful with Cherry. I like it. Don't want to be over-aggressive. Respect the hitter that's at the plate. And that's what that pitch was.
Where's number 1? Number 1 for a reason. In scarlet on the back of that gray uniform top. Black bat. Manis on 1-1 with 1 gone and 2 on. There's a strike. Dropped it in there on 1-2 now.
If there's a textbook in how to attack a hitter like Cherry in 3 pitches, Manis just wrote it. You know, you pick the zone with an off-speed to start, you go away with a fastball, and then you pick the corner again. Now you got a lot of options, 1 and 2.
Can he just blow him away here? 1-2 the count, 1 gone. 8-7 Cats in the 9th, 2 aboard. What's Manis got on 1-2? Here it is for Cherry after a kick and the pitch. Outside, snared by Malott, dropped by Malott, but no advancement of the runners.
Manis missed his spot there. They wanted that fastball about chin high, I'd say. Try to get Cherry to reach for it. But he missed away, and it was an easy take.
2-2 the count. Ohio's closer against a big-time hitter from the Big Ten right now. 2-2 the count with 1 gone. Manis for Brady Cherry. Swinging a pop-up. A mile high to short. Funderburg is there. Has the call and the ball. A head-high one-handed grab. And Ohio is 1 out away from ending an 11-game losing streak to Ohio State and winning for the first time over the Scarlet and Gray since 1990. And you can't exhale all the way. Here's the cleanup hitter, Connor Pohl.
Not a full exhale, but a half exhale. That was a huge, huge at-bat for Manis to get through. Thought he left that off speed right down the middle for Cherry a little bit, but the movement on Manis pitches is so tough to hit that he just undercut the baseball. But probably half an inch higher up on that baseball, it's a 3-run home run for Ohio State.
Pohl's their cleanup hitter. He walked, he's grounded out, he struck out twice. The strikeouts in his last 2 plate appearances. 2 on, 2 gone in the 9th. The first one hits the mark, but outside the zone to the left-handed hitter from Manis, left on left here. It is 1-0. Ohio trailed 3-0, then led 7-3, then led 7-4, then tied at 7, and then Revels did it again with the rope of a single to right to give his boys a 1-run lead. 1-0 pitch. There's a strike and a fastball. Right down Court Street. It is 1-1. Winand at second. Foppe at first. 2 gone in the Buckeye 9th. The Bobcats trying to beat the Buckeyes for the first time since 90. The 1-1 pitch from Manis. Here it is to Pohl. Outside. 2-1 the count. That was in the back of the right-handed batter's box. On the air on Friday night at 5:50 for the first pitch against Toledo at 6. And Ohio would love to have 9 wins on the season to roll into another weekend in MAC play with a whole lot of Big Ten beaten momentum. 2-1 the count, 2 gone to the 9th. Manis here for Pohl, the cleanup hitter. Swinging a foul tip. Off the mask of Manis, back to the screen, and the Bobcats are a strike away. Bobcats on the top step of their dugout. Buckeyes on the top step of their first base dugout. It's very calm here. No wind to speak of at all. It has been a beautiful day here in Athens. And you can add to that by beating the Big Ten Buckeyes. 1 strike away. 2-2 the count. 2 gone, top of the 9th. Runners on first and second. Manis for Pohl. Swinging a shot, back up the middle, base hit. Hitting third, trying to score, and Will is Winand. We're tied at 8. They were down to their final strike, and Pohl, the cleanup hitter, cleans up on a single to center, and the pinch runner scores from 180 feet away. Foppe to second, RBI single, Pohl, RBI number 20 on his season, and again, we're tied, this time at 8.
Feels even worse, too. He had a slightly shifted infield against the lefty, and it was right in that hole we saw Rote get a base hit earlier in this game. You kind of just shoot it up the middle, where a lot of times you have a second baseman able to make that play, but you shift against the lefty, base hit up the middle. So close. So close.
And it was hit so hard, too. That would have been a tough play, even if positioned absolutely perfectly. Runners on first and second now, 2 gone. Completely changed game now, tied at 8. Here is Dylan Dingler, their center fielder. 2 singles tonight, ground out, fly out. Tied at 8 in the 9th. Ohio was a strike away. Right on left. 1-0 pitch coming. Swinging a shot to left. This is a base hit. This is going to roll to the wall and might clear the bases. 9-8 Ohio State. 10-8 Ohio State. 2 RBI double to left center field for Dylan Dingler. The Bobcats were a strike away. Then they were tied. And now the Buckeyes are back on top by 2 with 7 runs in the last 3 innings. 3 here in the 9th. 10-8 Buckeyes. Dylan Dingler, ring-a-lings. The Bobcats down by 2. Rob Smith out of the dugout. And man, the emotional shift here in the 9th inning could not be more stark.
It's even worse because you used Manis. You used your guys that you would have used in any conference game, and your bullpen just can't come through. 7 runs in the final 3 frames. It's just tough. One strike, and now you're down by 2 runs.
Pitching change for the Bobcats here in the 9th. An RBI, 2 RBI double by Dylan Dingler. That's just RBIs 4 and 5 on his season. 10-8 Buckeyes. Pitching change, 2 gone, runner at second. We'll pause 60 seconds for the pitching change. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOEB. Chase Harris in for the Cats. DeZenzo up to the plate. 10-8 Ohio State. Time called.
And so much that you didn't expect to go right for Ohio went right for them tonight. And then the things that you expected to go right went wrong. You had guys like Revels step up with big-time hits, a grand slam against Ohio State. Joe Rock, who they wanted to just go 5, go nearly 7. But then your closer, Manis, can't shut it out.
1-0 is flared toward shallow right. Coming in on the late break, Richardson makes the shoulder-high catch, and the inning is done. But not before Ohio State ties it and takes the lead. A 2 RBI double by Dylan Dingler. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. 10-8 Ohio State. 2 to tie, 3 to win. This is Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOEB. And then Ohio State started to battle back. 1 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th. Bottom of the 9th now. Buckeyes on top 10-8, out hitting Ohio 12-8. Give them credit. They were down to their final strike, and they tied the game with Connor Pohl's single And then Dylan Dingler, 2 RBI double. 9-1-2 scheduled here against Andrew Magno. Left on right, Sebastian Fabic. Takes a strike, it's 0-1.
Well, if you get one runner on base, you will have Rudy Rote up to try to tie the game. So just get one guy on, and you give yourself an opportunity.
Fabic struck out, reached on an infield hit and flew out tonight. Takes a strike, it's 0-2.
And this goes back to how important the bottom of the 8th was, that you just don't lay down from 4, 5, 6. You got some runners on base. You set yourself up for a potential dramatic comeback in the bottom of the 9th.
0-2 the count, here it is. Outside, Fabic showed restraint. It's 1-2. Coming up to the top of the hour, you're listening to Bobcat Baseball on AM 1340 WOUB in Athens. With Lucas Moore, I'm Russ Eisenstein. 1-2, fouled off. Ebbs and flows of emotion tonight. Down 3-0 to start, and then that 5-run inning. And the grand slam for Cole Revels. 1-2 the count on Fabic. Swinging a poke into shallow right. Coming on and over is Canzone, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Here's Trevor Lucas.
Now we saw Lucas put a bunt down the third base line. Inning number 1. Don't really expect anything that drastic, but the goal is to get somebody on base for Rudy Rote. And the hope maybe get 2 on for him, see if you can win the thing, but just got to get one of these next 2 guys on.
Magno out of that Buckeye bullpen to the pitch. Drops a breaking ball that misses high. 1-0 the count. Lucas tonight walked, struck out, and then flew out. 1-0 pitch. Over, but maybe a bit high, 2-0.
Yeah, Blue has been given the higher parts of the strike zone tonight. Stayed consistent with it.
10-8 Buckeyes. Bases empty, 1 gone, 2-0 pitch. There's a strike, just kind of shaved some inches off the top of that zone. It's 2-1. Oof, to be that close, 1 strike away. 2-1, swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Blew it past him, it's 2-2.
It was crazy, the emotional flip here at Bob Wren Stadium. I mean, it went from, we're beating Ohio State, we're going to win, to, wow, is this happening? Within literally a minute, 30 seconds of real time.
Yeah. 2-2 the count with 1 away. Lucas waits, takes 1 low, 3-2. And as you said, get on base. Rudy Rote can have a chance here. Aaron Levy's on deck too. MAC Player of the Week last week. Payoff pitch, swinging a pop-up. This is up the line at third, in front of the sack, foul ground, third baseman makes the catch. Irwin came in. And when Ohio was a strike away from winning it, they are now an out away from losing it. Here's Aaron Levy.
But as Ohio State already proved, this game is beautiful for many reasons, but I think one of the main ones is the game is not over until all your outs have been recorded. And any comeback is possible.
27 in regulation. And the pitch, Levy takes 1 high. It's 1-0. Left on left here. Levy, 4-6-3 double play he rolled into in the first. Popped out in the third, struck out looking in the fifth, struck out in the 7th, swinging. And he stares at a strike there. It's 1-1.
You'd hate to just leave this game without giving Rote an opportunity.
Yeah. Cats down 2, 1-1. In the field turf, but did he go around? Yes. Oof. Ohio's down to its last strike. So, swept at Northern, 9-hour bus ride after Northern, up 7-3 on Ohio State midweek now, and now down to their final strike. 1-2 pitch, called, strike 3, the Buckeyes win, and they beat the Bobcats again. Losing streak against them to 12. Ohio had it, and then it didn't. 10-8 the final. That's the ball game. Stay tuned. Our post-game report is next.